And we're live here at the Station of Decapitation Without Your Head. I'm Nasty Neil.
And this is Annabelle Lecter.
And we're joined
And
by...
Devanny Pinn.
Hello! Yes! Devanny Pinn! It's very nice to have you here.
I was nerding out during that intro. All
Oh,
these
well, I
blur
appreciate
icons on here. That was so fun. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, I forgot we had to do a show here. I was like, yeah, all my favorite people.
Very cool. This has been years in the making. I think we've talked about you coming on the show on and off many times. And
Yes.
for some reason, it's not happened.
I mean, you guys obviously are busy interviewing everyone in genre that matters, and I've been plugging away and trying to make content and entertain you awesome people, and here we are. I knew it would align eventually, and I'm thrilled that I get to talk to you guys first about my directorial debut and horror in general. Hell yeah! Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on.
Wow, you just mentioned working at this for so long. Your credits are awesome. The things you've done. I was seeing you were in Rock of Love. I was just like, what?
Oh,
That's amazing.
School. Yeah. Okay. So like before it gets really bad, I was on one episode and they cut me like that.
Oh,
just
no.
just to be clear. But I am an old school. That's how long I've been around on this. I was the youngest one ever to be on the show at the time, and so that was kind of fun. And I was a huge like I was a little girl who just totally loved Brett Michaels, so it was a win-win. And I had a blast. I'm still in touch with several of the girls. And the network, and they're all awesome over there. And who doesn't love that show? Like I knew right away it was going to be so much fun.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
So,
Just other than that, I mean, you've produced, you've written, you've done so many things, not just acting. You've really been a part of.
I'm a nerd. I'm a horror nerd. I just like I'm I'm very noisy and I'm very invasive, I guess you could say. So I would be on set as an actress and do it for movies, and I'd be like bugging the crew. I'm like, what does that do? What does this do? Why are you doing that? And they're like, damn, shut up. But I just soaked it all in. I just love I love everything about filmmaking and horror and our genre. And so I learned as much as I can, and then I wanted to try it out, just as fun as first, and then and now I'm pursuing it professionally.
So, how early on, then, when you're in movies and shows and stuff, did you think, well, I would like to direct something?
Believe it or not, I had zero directing aspirations. I kind of still have zero directing aspirations, which is hilarious to say while I, just finished directing my first movie. But the reality of it is I like building the world that I tell a story about as much as I like acting in it, being a part of it. And so for me, I've always really been interested in producing and occasionally writing the story, because I just, involved in it long enough, you start to really love and appreciate telling stories. So I had written concepts and storylines for a while, and then obviously loved having some quality control. I loved having a say in the world that I was living in cinematically. And then I actually had the opportunity to direct a couple different times and turned it down because I just didn't feel like it was my best kind of work. And I didn't know necessarily I wanted to helm the story that I was telling. I just wanted to help create it. And so I actually had a couple of stories in mind for years that I wanted to tell, Black Mass being the main one that I was really, really passionate about doing. And I didn't want to do it until it was right. And I finally, just a few months ago, believe it or not, got the green light from a distributor that I had shot a movie with now 2 years ago, called Frost, Cleopatra Records, Cleopatra Entertainment. And they had frosted well for them, frankly. So they were like, let's do another one. And my partner, who I usually make movies with, is Brandon Slagle. And he's focused more now, sadly and not sadly, on the action genre. So I was trying to convince him to do this story. I was like, they're going to let me do my passion project. We're going to helm it. And he was like, nope. So I was like, shit, what do I do? And so I had my passion project as a producer. I had it on the table, and I couldn't find anybody who I really thought understood what I was trying to do with this particular story. And so it came down to, it was like, shit, I pitched myself as a director. I was like, I have been living in this story for so many years. I know I'm so passionate about every aspect of every detail of it. I was like, I think I could direct it. And so I pitched myself, and there was literally no pushback whatsoever. They were like, yep, do it. And so I was like,
Amazing.
now I got to actually do this.
So can you give our audience a little taste of what this film is? What are they going to see?
So as we were kind of discussing before we came on air, this is a different kind of movie and kind of difficult to promote because it is inspired by true events. It is a true story about a very prolific serial killer in America. And it's a different approach to the subject matter that really has ever been done before. And so part of the experience of seeing the movie is not knowing too much about it. So I'm actually trying to figure out how to best get people excited for this film without spoiling any of the fun once they get there. And so I can tell you it is a period piece. It takes place in the 70s. And we have an incredible cast of really prolific genre actors. I tried to pull some of my favorite actors from all the different major genre franchises and movies, and see if I could put them all in one film. And tonally, it's very, very serious. It's a very unique experience to go through, and it's all told in the period of one day. So you're literally walking in the shoes of a prolific killer for 24 hours.
Wow. I didn't realize it was like that.
Yeah.
Short of a time, 24 hours.
Literally a day in the life.
So I know you've wrapped up filming. What's the runtime of this movie going to be?
It's an hour and a half, and I might trim it slightly more. We're going to find out. I'm like the very last parts of post right now. Move really quickly on it. But I will be able to answer that better in about a week, the exact runtime. But as of right now, in my very polished rough, it is exactly an hour and a half.
That sounds fascinating. That 24 hours.
Yeah. And you said this was really just came about a couple months ago?
Yes. So I've been thinking about the story for
right.
gosh, almost a decade now. Ever since we did a different true crime picture, House of Manson, which is my Charles Manson biopic. This is the other story with that I really wanted to tell. And so I've been kind of putting the pieces together in my head ever since then. But as far as actually greenlighting the picture, yeah, it's been less than 6 months from greenlight to now. And we are going to premiere at Cannes Market in a few weeks. So it's a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, that's very exciting. So I assume you haven't had a chance to watch it with an audience yet, or have you watched with like some friends at all? Or
No. I'm gonna send it to just a couple of people ahead of the premiere screening, because we're inviting a lot of press and prolific genre people to that screening. So I want some feedback before it's theirs. But I'm hoping, I'm both like excited and nervous to hear what people have to say. I'm sure you guys know, like, when you it's a little bit my baby. And so when you put yourself out there like that, it's very vulnerable position. And, I've done a lot of movies at this point. And so every one, you kind of put a little bit of yourself out there. And of course, you love your audiences, you love your community, so you want people to like it. But this one is just extremely personal. So I'm both really excited and really, really nervous to see what other people have to say about it.
I would assume it's a different experience watching something. Yeah. I know you're in it too, but watching something you're acted in and watching something you've actually directed.
So I don't watch a lot of the times when I act in a movie, I don't watch it because I get taken out of the experience that I like when I watch, especially a horror movie. I really want to get up in there and just lose myself a little bit. And when you're the one on the camera, you're like, oh, the lighting there, or, oh, shoot, I should have delivered it this way. Or, why did I make that choice? I'm I'm back in work mode and I can't just turn my brain off and watch it. So I don't really watch a lot of things that I do as a fan, but doing it as a director, and I do act in this one as well, but it's a very, very supporting character. I really wanted to focus more on telling the story for this project. So my lead cast is really amazing. And so I wanted to be able to focus on them and getting the best performances out of each of them, which I really feel like I did.
Do you think that helps you as a director, your experience as an actor? You know how to talk to the other actors,
Yes.
and maybe you knew, like, you know, what you, like, even there and you're saying, like, maybe the lighting was wrong or something when you see it in yourself. And so you have that in mind when you're actually, you know, directing yourself.
Yes. So I get asked a lot about, how to get into the business or how to be in your first horror movie. I get asked that a lot. So what I tell people is if you're interested in film, get involved. And so I think when I started to work behind the camera, it made me stronger as a performer. I knew what everyone did. So when the DP pulled out a certain lens, I knew where the framing of my shot is. When the gaffer started pulling out certain lights, I knew which angle to cheat my performance towards to get that best image quality. I started asking the sound guy what all the different buttons did. So I know in my performance, especially because in horror, it's a very physical performance. I die a lot. So I know where not to hit the lavalier to make sure I don't bang the sound. So there's a lot of different things that impact and all tie in together. So I think the more that you can learn about everyone's individual jobs, the stronger that you will be at your chosen profession, or any of them, frankly. So I had done every single job on set. I do produce a lot. I never ask anyone to do anything that I haven't done myself or wasn't willing to do myself. And so I've literally done every single job, from PA all the way up to distribution. I've done every single job. And so the only thing I hadn't done was step in the director's chair. So I knew it was coming eventually, just to stay by my own rules. I was like, I need to know what that position is like. And you're always learning. There's always something to learn on every single set, no matter how much you do. And I really know, I know my genre. I really know how to deliver in front of the camera at this point. I can almost phone it in. I don't want to say I phone it in, but I know how all the beats, I know how to do it. But directing has really given a different perspective. It was educational in the best way, and I'm very grateful to the experience, and I will be taking it with me. And I think definitely being in front of the camera helped. I wrote a story for actors to showcase actors, and I think that a lot of people who read the script and ultimately signed on, because this was a tiny passion project, we got a lot out of it. And I think it's because I know what actors look for, and I know what fans look for, and so because I am one. And so I think that really came through in this project and what I wanted to do with it, and people were really excited to be a part of it.
Gory Bits here. There's a lot of comments. Thanks, everyone. We'll get to some more of them later. Gory Bits, I'm already sold on this movie.
Yay! Thank you so much, you guys. Appreciate you sticking with me on it. I really do. Thank you.
Yeah. And this sounds like kind of common knowledge, I think, but it shows that it helps. It's good advice to be friendly on set and be a good person, because like you said, then people were willing to work with you on this for, maybe a little less money, or even just like, hey, it's for her first time making a movie. Maybe normally they wouldn't, but worked with her before, and I'm going to give her, I would like to, help her in this project.
I had some people that I had the privilege of working in front of the camera with on various projects that I loved, and a lot of people that I just enjoyed their work and I've always wanted to work with, and they came out for the first time to collaborate with me on this one. And I can't say enough about the performances in this. They're next level, and I hope that everyone involved gets the credit that they're due for it, because I'm a little bit biased, obviously, but I do think it's something special and a great showpiece for a lot of them.
And how about filming a period piece? Well, what were some of the what was that experience like? Actually trying to make it look like the 70s, and I assume gritty.
Glutton for punishment. I am direct your first movie and then make it a period piece on a budget. Brilliant, Dev.
Maybe get animals and kids in there.
Geez, right? What am I thinking? So I knew better. I know how crazy it is to try to do that. But again, I'm so passionate about this story. It was like, I've got to try to make it work. And so definitely having a lot of experience in low budget horror helped. I know a lot of tips and tricks and ways to achieve things that otherwise would cost huge amounts of money. And so we cheated a lot in this. And I'm very curious if my fellow indie filmmakers will be able to spot some of the cheats. So it's fun in that aspect of it. But I really do think we put a lot value on camera. Like there's tons of production value. There's, the cast is great. We have cars, we have clothing, we have, a lot of people really saw it as a fun project. And so they brought their A game on this. And I don't recommend it on a budget. It's a lot of stress, and it takes a lot to really sell that effectively. I do what's called reverse engineering when I make a project. And that is usually I ask the distributor, hey, what sells well for you? And then I get a subgenre and then I start building it in reverse from there. So this project was kind of different. I did pitch them my passion project and go from there. But I knew that the story was contained on purpose. And so that really allows you to do things on camera, like have a period piece that otherwise would be really not able to do if the world was so much bigger, because it is a 24-hour period in life and takes place in very limited settings on purpose because it's actually following the historical events. We were able to, have to dress less locations, have less picture vehicles. It all lent itself to being able to effectively pull off on the budget that we had. If we were telling, when we did Manson, for instance, it was, 1 million people over like 4 decades. And just 100 locations. It was ridiculous. So I don't recommend that. But in our contained story, yes, it worked very well. And I do think that we were able to achieve the world and the feel. There's a lot of music, really, really fun period music that helps sell it on this. Shout out to Cleopatra Records, having a record company who gives you
that
stuff.
Would help. Yeah, for the music.
Definitely helps. So there's a lot of things, pieces like that were brought to the table that allowed us to build the world without having to sacrifice.
I was listening to, I believe it was Frost. Frost is your wolf movie?
I'm sorry, Frost is
the one with the wolf?
Yes.
Okay. I was listening to you talking about how it was a COVID time and you were pregnant and there was just so much to it, and that filmmakers really showed up, like indie filmmakers really showed up and were able to figure things out.
Yes.
And be creative and clever and make things work. How much did that, if you hadn't had that experience, do you think this would have gone differently?
That's a great question. So I used to do very, very contained budgets, I'll call them, often. I'm moderately spoiled these days. I do get to work on a lot more, I don't want to say, I did more well-funded, I guess you could say, different budget levels than I used to be at. And so it's a little bit spoiled in that capacity, a little bit cozy. And, much like everyone else, when the pandemic happened, it kind of threw a wrench in that. All the momentum that I worked forever to get, going. I was finally paying my bills comfortably. It was good. No, forget it. So we had to kind of start over. And I was really frustrated by that at first. And then ultimately, my indie filmmaker, my low budget indie horror kid kicked on a little bit. And I was like, I'm going to think outside the box. We're going to figure this shit out. And so a lot of people saw it as a restriction, and I kind of saw it as an opportunity. And so did the people that we were working with, all very prolific in their fields. And they were like, okay, we are only allowed to have so many people on set. We're only allowed to have so many locations that we're access to right now. Everything's closed. What can we do? And so we filmed with a skeleton crew in a car, basically on a mountain. And we're like, we're not going to shoot this like it's a pandemic movie. We're going to shoot it like this is the story we're telling. And it just so happens it fits into the pandemic parameters. And so that's how we approached it. And I think it was pretty successful. It was extremely low budget because bless Cleopatra, but we didn't even know if cinema was coming back at that point. It was the height of lockdowns. Wow. And so they gave us a tiny little budget and we're like, here, make some content, because streaming was still king at that point. But nobody wanted to take huge financial risks because cinemas were all shut down and we just didn't know the state of the industry. So we did it, and people were receptive to it. That was also a true story. I don't know, did you watch the ending?
I haven't seen it. I was
okay, I won't spoil it for you.
People what not talked about, to try to not be super repetitive and then bring things up I thought were like extra interesting. And this film, I was like, oh, I need to see this. Where would I find this movie?
Well, I'm going to send it to you as soon as we're out of here, so you can watch it, and I hope that you like it. It's a very divisive film. It is inspired by a true story. Those of you who have seen it or are going to see it, I got a lot of pushback, especially from women. So I'm very curious to see, because you're a horror girl, so I'm very curious to see what you have to say about it. Men kind of loved it, which is weird because it's about a pregnant girl. Wow. But the ending is the true part of the story for those of you who've seen it or are going to watch it. I got a lot of questions about, like, why did you end it like that? That was ridiculous. And because that's the true story is the answer to that. So I'll let you watch it. It was a tiny little movie, but because it's very controversial subject matter, we've kind of had longevity with it. It's still going. It gets discussed a lot in the depths of the internet and indie horror, blogs and posts and things. People are like bringing it up, so it's kind of fun. Which that's my jam. That's exactly what I love to do and have community about. I love things that stick with you. That's one of those movies that does. So it's pretty much just me in a car, which sounds terrible. I know. I promise you, there's stuff to stick around for. But it's me and Vernon Wells.
And I saw the one-man show. Oh shoot, who was it? Chaz Palminteri.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
A Bronx Tale.
Yes,
that was amazing. Yeah.
Yes. I'm very for this.
I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on it. So let me know after you watch. I'll send it to you when we're done here, and you can let me know what you think.
Great, thank you. It's Frost.
Frost, yeah. On VOD, DVD now. There's also a Blu-ray and a vinyl release if you're into the music. It's pretty fun.
Oh, cool.
Shout out Cleopatra. Yeah, thank you.
You mentioned, pushback a couple times. So do you expect that with, so you did a Manson movie, you did this Frost about a real story, and now Black Mass is about a real serial killer story. So do you expect pushback, and do you mind that?
I fully expect pushback on this. So this is the first time a serial killer movie is being told, and it focuses on the victims. I was really, when I made Manson, I got a lot of pushback, as you could probably imagine. It was bad. I got death threats. People were very, very passionate about the subject matter, very protective of Sharon Tate and the other victims, as they should be. And so they thought we were cashing in. And so I literally kind of went door to door on it. And one troll on the internet at a time, I was explaining my intentions with the movie. And it was to showcase these events and these people to the next generation, and to humanize the monster, the pop culture icon. He was not, a guy on a t-shirt. He was a real person who really influenced different people of all walks of life to abandon their lives, follow him, and then ultimately commit terrible acts that we're all familiar with. And so the process of how that could happen was fascinating to me. I really like the concepts of cults, and I don't like them, but I'm fascinated by them. Criminal psychology. Yeah, I'm very interested. Yeah. Sorry, I'm only a little bit of weirdo, not completely a weirdo. Okay, so I was very interested in that. And so I really wanted to showcase and humanize these people. And so I have a similar approach to this story. And I was really, especially I think with all of the mass shootings we're seeing in the news and things of that sort, I think it's really important to focus more on victims and less on the people committing these acts, and stop making them heroes in the press, whether it's anti-hero or not. And so I realized when we were watching, I'm a true crime junkie. I watch all the shows. I watch all the movies on them. And I realized most of them really focus on the person who's committing the crimes, and the victims end up being, just a couple of minutes in their story, or just a quick flash of a photo or a name. And it's very easy to overlook them, dismiss them, and just not focus on them. And so this movie is a different approach. We're still telling the story of this serial killer, but it's a day in the life, and we're following stalking, ultimately interacting with positively and negatively the victims of this crime. And so we get to see them as people, as young women who, you know, had hopes and dreams and families and goals and friends. And so I think my goal with it is, even if you're familiar with the events or familiar with the murderer, that you have a less easy time enjoying the story afterwards, that he's less idolized when we're done, that you are educated a little bit more on the crimes and the people that were involved in them, not just the person who committed them. And ultimately, I hope to disturb you because it was in fact disturbing.
I feel uncomfortable like thinking about it. I'm very visual, so I'm imagining in my mind the idea of watching, like, I don't know what happens, but I'm imagining watching a victim like living their day.
Yes.
Having someone observing their day, and then us as the audience, like you were saying, being able to really see, like, here's a human being.
Yes.
Living their life.
Yes.
And
it's taken from them. So my goal is, even if you know what happens or what's going to happen to these people, that you're right up in there with them. The movie is very voyeuristic, and so it's meant to be uncomfortable and upsetting even at times. And then also you're meant to enjoy yourself and then almost feel bad that you're enjoying yourself. The goal is to really take you on an emotional ride, and hopefully one that you really haven't seen before. That's my goal with this. And it is going to be very controversial. It is probably going to be upsetting to some people. Some people are probably not going to like the way things are portrayed. I'm definitely prepared for all of that. But my intention with it, at the end of the day, because we don't pull any punches on things that happen or the intention behind them. And so that is going to be very controversial. But the goal ultimately is that I want you to think twice about who you're supporting, why you're supporting them, and to look at victims differently, not as victims, but as people.
Let's see here. Michelle Romano says she cannot wait for this.
Hi, Michelle. Michelle is amazing. She is one of the stars of our movie. And yes, and she portrays one of the real girls in this. And she also came on to co-produce it with me. I've been a fan of hers for a variety of years. She does incredible work, and so we've been looking to collaborate. I had her on as an actress on a female-fronted action movie I did years ago called Escape from Ensenada, and I've been looking for a project to team up with her on. She didn't know at the time, and I do this a lot, is when I have a project, like the Manson project, for instance, I had super creepy now that I'm saying it, but I had watched a lot of people for years, kind of matching them up with the different parts that I wanted them to play. And it just so happened that Michelle also looks very much like the girl that she's playing. And so I had her in my mind for this for years. And it's the first of, I hope, many collaborations with her. She'll be with me in Cannes, and we'll have to send you maybe some clips from our Q&A.
Oh, yeah, that'd be sweet. We'll put that up on the website. Yeah. Awesome.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And Michelle, actually, that's how I heard about the project originally. She emailed me about it, and so it was very cool. And she'll probably be on the show at some point.
So she can tell you about shooting it.
Yeah,
tell definitely. You if I suck a director or not. Yeah. She'll let you know.
Yeah. Maybe either before, it might be cool to have her on after you guys do.
There you go.
And get it and see what the experience was like.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. So when you said an hour and a half, you might trim some out after you actually play it in an audience. So what I guess the question is that the final, form of the movie, or like after you see how people react to it, could you, edit it?
That's a great question. So, technically, I am giving this to the distributor. It is pre-sold, so it's up to them. Ultimately, they kind of got excited about it too, since we've shot it, and so they are supporting a festival run with it, which is not always the case. Cool. Yeah, usually the distributors kind of want to get it out and start making their money.
Yeah. Right. Because usually the festival is the idea is to get a distribution
Correct.
deal.
To get distribution. Yeah. And this is, most of my films these days are pre-sold. So I don't really get to partake in the festival circuit the way that I would love to. And that's sad for me because I'm a fan, I want to go see the movies. I want to like showcase
they're
their
a good
connect with
time,
the audiences. Yeah. But they really understood what I'm trying to do with this. And so they have expressed support for a festival run through the fall. So we will be submitting to and hopefully bringing it to several festivals. And then with that being said, I do have to turn in the final film to them ahead of our con screening. But if they're not releasing it right away, hopefully they'll let me see how the audience responds to it and make any adjustments as necessary before we start our official festival run.
Distribution itself is something that comes up a lot with friends of mine who make independent film, and I think people even who make a lot of movies still don't quite understand distribution or have many horror stories. So yes. I think that's a big benefit already having distribution in place.
Back to what we talked about before, I was very curious about the distribution scenario there because everyone seems to think, what's the deal with this? So I started working in distribution. I kind of charmed my way in and ended up being good at it. And so I attended all the various markets and really learned from a lot of different distributors as well as international sales agents. I became vice president of an international sales agent for a couple of years. I also worked with a domestic distributor. So I learned the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's a lot of ugly in that business, I'm not going to lie to you. But that being said, I really did learn about how deals are structured and distribution, how it works. And so I'm able to reverse engineer projects, and it helped me get movies made because I would know what distributors are looking for and why. I would learn about sales trends and what was easier to get a yes for. A lot of people just make the movie they want and then try to shop it to a distributor. It may or may not be something that's selling for them right now. And so you run that risk. So I just wanted to eliminate all of the risk and make sure that if I made a movie that it reached an audience. And that was a priority for me. So since then, I have not personally made a single movie that was not at least somewhere guaranteed to have distribution upon completion, and or these days, all of our movies are pre-sold.
And I assume that's because that's like continually evolving. So that would be something you'd have to keep up with,
Yes.
The rise of different streaming sites. And then sometimes the streaming sites, maybe they're not as good. And then physical media up and down. So.
It's different, and because our market's been changing so much, a lot of companies, like I'll spend a lot of time putting in relationships with companies, really learning the ins and outs of them and how to be profitable with them, and then they'll implode. Or there'll be like a company that's doing really well, and we'll get like 6 movies placed with them, and then all of a sudden the following year, even the following quarter, sometimes something changes, a buyer doesn't want to buy as much anymore, or an outlet closes up or changes its model, and then the profit margin isn't guaranteed there anymore, and so they aren't buying anything anymore. That happens like throughout the year, every single year. It's a constantly evolving business. So even when you start to figure it out, you're not done. It's just you have to consistently be invested in it.
You mentioned the word invest, and I'm thinking this is like the stock market. Like you
very
really
much
on top of things all the time.
Absolutely. And frankly, it really is a risk. Very much so. It's because the stock market, you can really learn the trends, and you can do the same thing with distribution, but there's just so many elements that are not in your control. It's hard to do and consistently be profitable in. I feel more comfortable doing that in a more modest budget. I think that the chances of it being successful, because I am so invested in my business, and I get on here, I promote them, and I keep it going, and so that if you have this much money to recoup and make profitable, it's a safer investment for me personally than if it's we're doing a $5 million movie, then it's really got to be a hit, and you can't. We can't close up shop and just say, never mind. You know what I mean? Like, it's really, really independent. So I stick to where I know I'm comfortable, which is in the more modest budget productions. And so far, whether or not we're profitable or not, we don't, knock on wood, we don't lose money. So continuing to make them as far as it is right now. And it's my passion. There's definitely way more safe jobs, more normal jobs, way more profitable jobs. But I'm a special brand of weirdo, and I just love this so much, and so still at it. And I hope that
I'll
you guys
be honest, that makes me happy because we do have guests every once in a while who just, it's good that they're honest, but they don't like the horror genre. And that's always kind of bums me out a little bit because it is, if you were making that, I would assume you like it, and it's a much better feeling for me if someone actually really likes it. And then they're doing
I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had a lot of people I looked up to, people whose work that I really love, and they'll tell me like, oh, I just can't book anything else, or, I got stuck here. And I'm like, I take offense to that, honestly. Like, I hate to be like, millennial triggered, but like it's not I love our genre. I love it. I've had several opportunities to do other stuff, to work elsewhere. And I don't. This is the most fun. There's no limitations. There's maximum creativity. There's longevity in a really crazy career that otherwise may not have it. I don't know why. That's a whole different topic, is why horror does not get the credit that it deserves to get.
Because the last few years, it's really helped the cinemas stay open, because that's what's really been, besides, MCU, Marvel movies, but like, even independent horror movies are actually playing a lot in cinemas and doing well.
Yes, they are. And that's the thing. If you look throughout history, we've always saved the day. Horror has always kept things going. It started, almost every single A-list star started in a horror movie. It has saved different studios over the years. It has floated different studios over the years. Horror always is that underdog kid that just does not get credit due. And it's always seen as a stepping stone, something that you need to move past. Fuck you guys. We're always been here, and we're still here, still saving the day. And, I think it's really amazing what's happening right now. Is like, for the first time, it's kind of coming to the forefront. It's almost trendy, which is kind of annoying too. As an indie horror fan, I'm like, you guys aren't real, but at least it's in the forefront, and and we're getting credit where it's due. And I hope that people will seek it out as an asset, because I really think that it is. Yeah.
Well, it's like the Universal monster movies. Like, how many movies from that era do people still like buy merchandise for, or make T-shirts of, or talk about? But they're around 100 years, and people still.
That's right. That's right. We're still here, and they can't get it right because they keep hiring mainstream people to helm them. That's something that annoys me too. Is like, they know it makes money, so they'll greenlight it, but they'll put like the CW actor and like some guy who's never been in horror ever to like direct it, and then they're like, why didn't it work out?
Yeah, or they'll even outright say like, we want to make them action movies. We don't want them to be horror movies. And it's like,
right.
Well, they've been around 100 years, so people love them. Why do you want to get away from what they are? It makes no sense.
Well, I think with the market changing as much as it is, and VOD really being the forefront, and cinemas really being open to content that isn't necessarily from the major studios in order to stay alive. Ironically, desperation has opened up opportunities for us, and we have continued to show up and show that we're profitable and reliable. And so it's hard to ignore that right now, and there's some momentum in it, and it's kind of fun. It's a fun time.
Yeah. Horror is so powerful. I very much apologize to anybody I would say the name of and I don't get your name right. BJ Mezek said horror sells in any language. And I remember seeing in college Japanese horror movies that, it was a long time ago in the land of pirating movies. I am against that now, but at the time it was the thing. And it was like,
well, then they were hard to get. But now,
it was impossible. So I think it was Ju-on, which was like the Grudge origin.
Yes, the origin story, yes.
And there was a ton of them, and I downloaded them, and they were not in English, and they still scared me.
Yeah,
I loved them, and I still love them, and they still scared the crap out of me.
That's what's so cool too, is like, there's so many amazing stories in the international market. And like, we've been so lazy for so many years, like just wouldn't read subtitles. And so we've been missing out on like really cool cinema. But like, what Japanese horror has been awesome for a really long time. German horror, like they love their gore over there. There is so many gems that are out there that now that, like, again, with VOD and everything, it's more easily accessible. And you can support them even on the free sites. We still get credit for those.
Yeah, Tubi's great. Has a lot of cool stuff. Yeah.
My people, Tubi, I love you guys. Yeah. Gosh.
So much amazing Asian horror on Tubi.
Yes.
I have had this big kick for like a few months where I'm just like, all kinds
Which one's your favorite?
Oh my word. Well, I just saw this one. I can't remember exactly what it's called. It was so silly. It was silly, but great. It has
This one.
It's called Hair something. And it's about this woman who was grabbed to have her organs harvested. And
Naturally.
she ended up, and what happened is when she died, she ended up, becoming like not a ghost, but her body was it was generating hair. So she had hair coming out of all over the place, and it's just crazy.
I love Asian horror. There is no limits over there. It's amazing. Okay, you gotta send me that when you get the name. Send it to me. I want to watch it.
Yes, I will find it for sure. It was awesome. There's humor, and that's I think something with some Asian horror, especially Japanese horror, is there's humor.
Yep.
There's so much. There's like humor and a really tender story about a girl and her sister's kid who she brought in, and this like really nasty hair stuff where there's so much going on, and I love it. Like
it has a twisted sense of humor over there anyway, and I think it lends itself to the genre perfectly. Like Killer Weave, I can't wait to watch that. That's amazing.
You'll love it.
Yeah. I really liked the sadness, but then nothing against him. I had the director on, and I assumed he was a guy from Canada, which is fine. But the movie's an Asian movie. It was odd, but that's actually void of a lot of humor. That one's a very intense, graphic movie.
They're a little more serious in their stuff. I've kind of seen. I mean, there's humor too, of course. It's not always, but a lot of Canadians in horror, which is really really cool, and generally, a little bit more on the morbid side, which I think is kind of interesting. That's a whole other thing too, is all the different cultures like kind of lend their voice to their aspect of the genre. I think that's why it's important to seek out content from other cultures, because they all have their own trends, they all have their own voice a little bit, and it's fun. It's fun to explore those different kinds of things.
Yeah. And as a horror fan, that's what one of the things I like about horror, because sometimes I'm in the mood for something just silly and fun, but sometimes I want something really, gory and horrible to watch, or something in between, something thought-provoking. It all depends.
What would your recommendation be for like a foreign horror film?
Oh, that's great. I mean, so if you like iconic gems, Audition's a great one. If you like gore and to like cry into your pillow at night, then Martyrs, the original Martyrs, is a lot of fun. If you're a weird, twisted fuck, then Serbian film's really great. If you like,
we're both fans.
Yeah, we actually are the only people that have interviewed him. And I was going to ask him about
at the time, it was the only podcast he had done.
He's like, I don't even know why I'm here. He literally said, which was like, hey, that works for us. Whatever.
He's the best. He was a trailblazer. So I saw that before it became trendy. I watched it and I was like,
oh. No. She was too taken back from a Serbian film. It took her right out of the show.
The man is coming down and putting the end to
But I'm sure we'll have her back here momentarily. Yeah. So I'm just going to post some of these things here.
Actually, look, you can entertain the audience. I want to look up this film.
All right. Gory bits here. The gore, the merrier. I like that. That's actually... you know what? I'm going to try to remember this one. The gore, like it's more the merrier. The gore, the merrier. I'm going to try to use that for Featured Severed Limbs Film Festival. I kind of like
Are you going to give credit to Gory?
I will. I have to remember. Gory bits.
Gory bits. Take a screenshot.
All right.
Gore, the merrier. I love it. Yeah, Facebook user. I'm so happy most of these people have names today.
Yeah. Colin, it's very nice. Colin's going to be on the show a little bit later after Devanny, and he's in the chat. I'm a Canadian in horror. So,
I see. Canadian horror. Very nice.
Yeah. A lot of people here supporting Devanny, which I will show those when she gets back.
Oh, man. I wonder what happened.
I don't know.
What if she was on her phone and her phone died?
Oh, it's possible.
Death of the phone. But you can always have her back.
Yes. I think either way we'll have her back.
Really into horror. And
Yeah. Really fun guest. I'm glad you're here for this one.
yeah,
I'm really looking forward to the movie too, and not just because she's here with us. I'm sold on it.
yes. I was
And-
truly not just saying it for her to feel good, but I
Yeah.
really was listening to her and imagining in my head. I'm like, that's so creepy. And even just the idea of being stalked, like that people that can just be stalking you. You don't know. You could just, anyone in the chat, you, me, anyone could just be stalked at any time. And that's, ugh.
I'm just turning on my phone just to see. I have my Facebook messages here, but just in case she emails too, because I sent the link on the email.
Oh man. Well, that film, for anybody who cares, is XT, and the translation is hair extensions. And when I saw it, I was posting it all over the place because I was just, hey.
Ooh, sorry, my phone overheated. It was getting too hot in here.
Oh, I see. Annabelle thought maybe something happened. Yeah.
Wow. XT is the name of that movie. It translates to hair extensions.
What is it? Etsy?
EXTE.
XT.
Japanese version, but
I'm so excited to watch that.
so great.
I'm kind of bummed I didn't think about that with killer hair extensions. I'm not even wearing mine today, which is a bummer. But next time we'll come back on and we'll talk about it.
You might not want to wear them after you see the movie. People get messed up by the hair extensions.
I mean, yeah.
Kurt says, thank you for interviewing one of the most talented actors in modern cinema.
Oh my gosh. He must be talking about you. I'm not doing the interview, Kurt. They are.
Kevin Kessler, hello, Devanny Pinn. Looks like the new Barbie movie will be absolutely terrifying. Okay.
I'm so excited to see it. I don't care what anybody says. It's so fun. It does look terrifying. I am dressing up and I'm going seeing that, and I'm singing Barbie Girl the entire time. I don't care. So excited.
Song. Who did that song? I remember that song.
Aqua, yeah.
I went to see Mario the other day. I wasn't going to mention that I went and saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. I don't want to take away my horror, card, but
Okay, so how was it?
It's very fun. It's a very fun movie. Yeah. I thought the trailer. I think, normally I think all game movies are pretty bad, but when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, oh, this one actually looks really fun. And
I love the Lego movie, so I'm actually looking for. And I play Mario Kart 64. I'm a
Mario
Kart.
I'm a big fan of Mario Kart, so
I'm gonna go see it too. So I'm glad that you like it. If you guys sign off on it, then I'm excited now.
I've not yet seen it, but I've not heard anything but good from people about it.
Well, you're gonna have to watch it too. So now we have like homework. We have a couple movies to watch before we chat again.
Yeah. Annabelle and I will be seeing Renfield this weekend.
Hey, Nick Cage does not disappoint. I mean, what more could you ask for?
I was not sure because we were talking a little bit earlier about like action-y horror movies, and I thought, I don't know what this is going to be. But
it's Nick Cage. You never know. It could be anything. But I think it looks fun. I mean, I think we've gotten the serious, Dracula movie already. We've gotten the action-y version, and so let's see what he does with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
I really enjoy these later Nick Cage movies the last few years. I think it's his best stuff he's done.
Agreed.
I love Mandy.
The desperation thing, it just gets you, So eventually, he looks like he has fun though when he's doing them. So that helps.
Yeah.
He did an interview. I mean, people could say what they want, but he did an interview saying it's the most fun he's had making movies is the last few years. And he was honest about why he had to do a lot of these smaller movies that he might not have done. But he said it's actually the most fun he's had making movies.
It's because when you get into the too big not that I've I've only done a couple of much bigger movies, but it's very corporate. It's very 9 to 5. It's it's business, and so you lose a lot of the creativity and a lot of the fun that goes into them. So I think some of these bigger guys who for whatever reason are having to do smaller movies now are realizing when you get over, you don't have all the bells and whistles. It's a good time. People want to be there. People are creative, and that's generally why we got into it in the first place. So I love it. I love that space. And it looks like, now he does too. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, then this seems like I think it's going to do well.
Devin Nick Cage.
Mike 1970 House of Manson was really good. Playing Sadie
Oh.
Mae Goots. She
Let's.
nailed it really. Glutz, I'm sorry. She nailed it very well. Really well.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I did a lot of research for her. That was my original passion project. I really wanted to tell Manson's story, and so it was challenging to step into the shoes of someone that you just really don't care for as a person. But she was definitely a fascinating individual, and I appreciate you checking it out, and I'm glad that you liked it.
That's a weird question, but did you ever go to the Museum of Death in Hollywood?
Yes, I did. Yep. I actually they talked to me a little bit while I was there, and I'm actually supposed to bring them some of my true crime movies to have in the museum. So thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. If you guys are in the area, definitely recommend that. Lots of interesting artifacts and information. And if you're a weird, morbid creature like I am, then it's a fun night out. Yeah,
all three. Yeah, we had a good time in there, which was a weird thing.
Really, art, I do art, and so the room. That's
the first room.
All artwork. Yeah. Wow. Very, very cool.
Henry, portrait of a
serial killer. Yeah.
And there's this painting of this white horse, like running in this field. This just, like
spoke to.
And there's this like cloudy and everything, and I'm just thinking like here's a horse, a free animal, and then there's this huge looming darkness that's coming in. I thought that was just such a powerful piece of art.
Absolutely beautiful. Just beautiful.
Sad that someone who could make something like that did what they did. I
mean, there's a lot to individuals. They're not one facet. They're not just a bad guy. They're not just an artist. There's a million different levels to them, and a lot of them had genius as well. And so you think, like what a waste. There was so much potential in there. A lot of them are incredibly intelligent, a lot of them really creative, and you wonder why they chose the path they did. But in many of the cases, the genius and the madness went hand in hand. And so you get a little bit of both.
Lots of trauma.
Yes.
Lots and lots of trauma. Not that it's an excuse to be out there murdering people.
No, why murder people when you can watch us murder people on camera and not go to jail for it, guys? Keep horror on camera. Yes.
That could be a shirt. Keep horror on camera.
Keep murder in cinema. Oh my God.
We went to a convention in Kalamazoo, and the guy who picked us up, he was a very religious, which is fine, very religious van. It was very clear. And he was having conversation and asking us what we were doing there, because not many people go to Kalamazoo. And he said, we're going to do this horror convention. He started being all like, well, horror is such a great thing, because what would those people do without horror? They'd be like, all horror fans would just be out there with knives and attacking each other.
Yes. So I'm very religious. Fun facts. I'm a Christian and I'm very, very active in my faith. So I talk about this a lot, actually. Mr. Kalamazoo is right and not right. Just because you like horror doesn't mean you're, a closeted serial killer. But there is, there's darkness in everybody. And so I love horror as a Christian. I love horror because it's a healthy outlet for that. So, by the time I am done purging my soul of all the really weird shit that's in there and put it all on camera, what's left is, Barbie.
Yeah. I'm a psychology person, and I love to do a study on horror and which kinds of horror appeal to people, and how a lot of people who are into horror have had different experiences of life. And it seems like certain things line up experiences, which I think is very fascinating. But there's like what do you call it? That when you have that experience of horror, and it's like you said, it's like purging. There's like something about the experience. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And we need it. We need horror. We need that outlet. And I think that's why it appeals to so many people. And I think that's why I think faith and the genre go hand in hand. And I think that anyone from any kind of walk of life can find it as a healthy outlet and should embrace it. And
I
I'm
love that.
That's why
Yeah.
I found the horror communities very accepting for the most part of people of different backgrounds.
Yes, very much so.
I truly appreciate that you are Christian and you can be like, horror has a value. It's not
Absolutely.
like evil. As
No.
you know that there are
No.
some Christians who are more extreme.
We do, but here's the thing about that. Like, you know, a lot of Christians like to point the finger about everybody else. But the bottom line is, you know, they're Christians because they're not perfect and because they need God. They're working on themselves. If they were perfect, they wouldn't need faith. You know what I mean? So I think the execution comes out wrong sometimes, but the reality of it is that, you know, there is value. And different people get what they need out of life, out of love, out of faith in different ways. And horror is one way that you can achieve some things that you need as a human being, just the same way that faith is. You know, different people. The reason there's so many different kinds of religion is because people are so different and they need to hear or feel or experience what they need to within their faith. And not everyone, it's not a one size fits all, because we as people are not one size fits all. And so, you know, those who are quick to judge in the name of faith, they're working on themselves and they're working on their faith too. And you can take what they say with a grain of salt or not, and don't lose any sleep over it. Yeah. They shouldn't either.
I always like talking with people. Like if you go out for Halloween, sometimes there'll be like a crowd of people who are like, "No Halloween."
Yeah, we had that in Salem. Yeah.
I think it's interesting. It is interesting to find out what motivates people and why people have the perspectives they have. Because
everybody free to not celebrate a really fucking cool holiday. That's up to them. By all means, go for it. And you know, I'm gonna.
Exactly.
So, Black Mass, it'll be premiering in what, 2 weeks?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're actually we're bringing it to Cannes Market. So if you're in France, I don't know if we have listeners in France or not, or if you're going to be there, we are playing March 21st. And following that, we are going to do a festival run. And I'm very excited to announce that as we get deeper into the summer. And I hope that you will seek it out. I am going to be talking about it a lot, so apologize in advance for all the spamming that we're going to do. But you can follow me along on my socials, and I'll be making tons of announcements there as well as in the trades. I'm hoping to bring it to a couple of horror conventions if they'll have me, and to play it there. So it really is, you know, it's a labor of love for me as a horror fan to the community. And so I really want to connect with everybody through it. And I hope that you'll seek it out.
Yeah, I was going to say quick about the having the festival run with already the distribution, because we've seen some movies recently that did well at the festivals, got a buzz, and then they got theatrical release. So I do think that's a good idea, even if you already have, you know, something in store, like for a physical or video release.
Yes. So we do have placement due to distribution already. Cleopatra, thank you so much for making this happen for me. There is always a possibility of a theatrical run or, you know, more premium placement or television. There's opportunities there. So if you see it and like it, please be vocal about it, because the powers that be, they do listen. They do pay attention. Great example of that is Terrifier 2. Shout out to those guys.
That's the big one. And then,
they were a little indie horror film like we are. And, and fans were very vocal about what they wanted to see, and it worked out for them. So, you know, there's opportunities.
And then it kept playing weeks and weeks. You know, it didn't even, you know, they thought maybe it would play like 2 nights or something, and it ended up playing for quite a while.
And rightfully so, because what a badass achievement that was. So happy for those guys.
It was fun. Annabelle and I saw it in Boston, and not only was it cool to watch, but there's something about watching it in the theater and knowing that some of these people are like kind of a normal audience.
Not knowing what they're in for.
Right. Yeah, maybe that's mean of me to say or bad, but it is a cool thing.
I felt the same thing. I was like, that's so funny. I was laughing my ass off when I went up for the Oscar nom, knowing how stiff some of those committees are and how like stuffy they are.
Just
how
the idea that they'd have to watch
it. Sit through it. It's so amazing. So funny. So it's a really exciting time for indie horror, and a great time to be a fan, because we really do have some say over the content that's being made and getting out to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't expect to have theatrical run. Even, you know, Ennis Ben we saw at Boston Underground Film Festival, and it's going to play at AMC, and just a lot of stuff. And it's, you know, that's exciting. Super exciting. I absolutely love it, and please continue to support it, because again, if you go see it in the theater, then it'll continue to happen. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This has been great, and we need to do it again sometime.
Yes, please. I will come back and chat spooky stuff with you anytime. You guys are wonderful.
It's been great to meet you. Happy to have you here. Happy for you with Con Festival, and it just seems like things are going, like, keep going up and up and up and up.
I hope so. Thank you very, very much. It is wonderful to have met you, Annabelle, and I'm excited for our follow-up chat and to talk some more movies. Yay. Thank you so much, Neil, for having me on, and I hope that you guys have a fantastic time with the rest of your chat. Thank you very much, and when the movie's done, I would love to send it to you guys for your thoughts, too, if you're willing.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank
you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. And everyone, just you can follow Devanny Pinn. Just put in Devanny Pinn and you'll find her.
Yes, please. Social media. I'm a Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'm very, very active in chatting. I love to chat horror, so hit me up. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in.
All right. Thank you. All right. I see Colin is here ready, so that's very nice. It's very nice that he's ready. We're actually going to play the pitch video here for Bath Bomb while we get him onto the show, and hopefully I can work this out. All right, I think this will work out. All right, so we're gonna play this while we get Colin on here, and he's here, but we're gonna play the video here, and you guys can see what we're about to talk about. And right now, I'm just jibber jabbing while I get this set up.
Just filling the space.
Exactly. All right, here we go.
Hey, Neil Jones.
Hmm?
No one, we can't hear it.
You can't?
No sound.
No. All right. All right, we'll get out of this. Weird. I can hear it totally fine. Let's try this one more time. And if not, I'll just put up the link and you can go and watch it yourselves. Now, you couldn't hear it the whole time?
Not at all. No.
Share audio is clicked. All right, here we go. Let me know if you can hear it this time.
Director Colin G Cooper, and I'd like to welcome you to the Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign for the upcoming queer giallo short film, Bath Bomb. I am a huge fan of giallo cinema. I love its outlandish depictions of violence and eroticism, its flamboyant use of fashion, lighting, and decor, and its unique tropes and visual language that heavily influenced later cinematic movements, most notably the American slasher. But what I don't love is the subgenre's portrayal of queer characters, in particular, queer men. Throughout the giallo filmography, queer men almost always appear as heavily stereotyped secondary characters, given little to no narrative license. At best, they're relegated to comedic relief, serving as an effeminate counterpart to a heterosexual male protagonist and eventually killed off. At worst, they're cast as the killer or a red herring suspect, with their sexual orientation portrayed as being part of their madness, often with a not-so-subtle subtext of pedophilia. What's more, other than a tiny number of recent European productions, there really isn't much out there in terms of giallo films made by openly queer filmmakers, nor those that seem to have a queer audience in mind. But my team and I are hoping to change that. With Bath Bomb, we aim to introduce a uniquely queer approach to giallo filmmaking. It's a short film that focuses on queer men as its central characters, acting with agency in their own narrative that sends up common queer stereotypes in a playful, tongue-in-cheek manner. But that doesn't mean that Bath Bomb is intended only for a queer audience. Our team believes this film can be enjoyed by all cinema lovers, especially if you like your horror combined with a tasteful amount of campy humor. Speaking of our team, we're honored to have some pretty amazing folks working with us, including legendary cinematographer Jeremy Benning, widely known for his acclaimed work on all 6 seasons of The Expanse, as well as episodes of The Boys, Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, and many more. Our score is being composed by Teresa Wayman, founding member of celebrated indie rock band Warpaint, and her brother Ivan, a Grammy-nominated engineer and producer who's collaborated with the likes of Adele, The Killers, Carly Rae Jepsen, and many others. And our poster was created by the talented and mysterious Creepy Duck, who's responsible for some of the coolest horror artwork of recent years. As for me, I'm a director and editor mostly known for my music videos. I've collaborated with artists like Jesse Reyes, Under Oath, Silverstein, Rez, The Glorious Sons, Tasha the Amazon, and more. I've won some awards, I've been featured in some fancy publications, etc., etc. So, with all that in mind, please consider helping Bath Bomb reach its goal of raising $25,000 by giving generously and sharing the campaign with friends, family, partners, and anybody else you think might be even remotely interested in this project. All efforts are greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching and for helping us make our queer giallo dreams come true.
All right, and we are back here once again at the Station of Decapitation with Your Head. I'm still Nasty Neil.
I am Annabelle Lecter.
And we're joined by Colin G Cooper, the man who's making this movie we just watched a little video of, Bath Bomb.
I have to ask, this has nothing to do with your movie. What is the movie with a baby with laser eyes and exploding head?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, that's an episode of The Boys that Jeremy shot.
All right. Will we see babies with laser eyes?
There will be no babies in Bath Bomb. I wish.
Someday.
Yeah, that looks amazing. So, Bath Bomb, watch a little video. So, can you give us, without spoiling too much, because sometimes if you talk too much about what a short's about, you can spoil it. So, give us an idea of what Bath Bomb is about.
Yeah, it's about a gay couple. It's one scene, 2 characters, 5 minutes. It's about a gay couple where one gentleman prepares a romantic bath for the other gentleman, but in the midst of the bath reveals that he knows that the guy has cheated on him. And then there's a confrontation about the infidelity that turns very violent.
There's so much talent.
That's all I can say.
The talent that I've seen in just that short few moments, I'm just like, this is a crazy amount of talent to put into such a small space.
Thank you. I got very lucky with the team.
So how do you actually put together a team? Are these mostly people you've worked with before in other projects, or?
Not exactly. So I put together a pitch deck for this that was pretty in-depth. I had to explain what giallo was to most people. A lot of people are not familiar with it. And then I kind of had to explain why, to me, it makes sense to make a queer giallo, like why it was specifically interesting to the queer community. And because we're trying to, like part of the purpose of it is to address queer representation, it would be hypocritical to not have a queer cinematographer, in my opinion, because it's supposed to be about the queer lens. And Jeremy is kind of like the biggest openly queer cinematographer, period. He lives in Toronto, which is where I live. So I just went through all of my contacts in the industry to see if anybody knew him personally. And I did have a contact who knew him. So he connected us via email. And then I just pitched it to him. I sent him the script and I sent him the pitch deck. And he was interested. And then we had a Zoom, as people do now. And yeah, he was excited to be part of it. He's actually, our production schedule is essentially based around him. He's currently shooting Cross, the Alex Cross books, James. Yeah. So they turned that into a series, and he's shooting that right now. And when he's finished with that, we'll go into production. Tentatively, the second week of June is what we're looking at right now.
So, what is it about giallo for yourself? When did you first discover it, and what about it attracted you to it?
I mean, I had seen giallo before I knew it was giallo.
Okay.
I didn't become familiar with that term as a subgenre until film school. There was a course I went to film school at the University of British Columbia, and it's like a fine arts program. they had an auteur cinema class, and each semester it's different. It's always two directors, and there was a year or a semester that it was Cronenberg and Argento.
Wow.
And I unfortunately couldn't take the class because I had
Oh.
required credits that I'd already filled up. But and I sent in emails to audit the class and never got a response from the professor. I forget his name. I hope he doesn't hear this, or I guess he doesn't. But so I just went in, and because it's at a university and not just like an independent film school, the resources are pretty crazy. So it's in a big, beautiful theater, and there's tons of seating. So I just went in and watched. And they, in the Q&A session amongst the class and the prof, they were talking about giallo, and that's when I kind of realized what it was. And in that class they did Deep Red and Tenebrae. Then they did some non-giallo stuff, like depending on how much you want to argue about what is giallo and what isn't. They did like Suspiria and Inferno, which to purists are not giallo because it's supernatural elements, and because it's not murder mystery, it's just murder, even though it follows the visual language of giallo thematically and narratively. It's not really giallo. But that just led me to, where did this come from? And, I saw Blood and Black Lace, and saw like the origins of that style of lighting. And as I got to know other queer artists and queer filmmakers over the years, I realized that a lot of people were a fan of giallo and had taken from it. There's the term, it's been popular in the past 10 years, maybe, bisexual lighting. That is
I
lighting.
saw that in your
scene,
and I was, what is this? So I don't know. Please.
So it became a buzzword when Janelle Monáe started making, she's queer, she started making music videos that used the style of lighting where you contrasting like pinks with purples and reds and things. The reason I think they've called it that is because those are the colors of the bisexual flag. But it's one of like the few cases where a marginalized group, the queer population, is actually co-opting something from the mainstream instead of the other way around. Because it actually comes from Mario Bava, who, essentially created giallo with The Girl Who Knew Too Much, and then with Blood and Black Lace. And he used that. Blood and Black Lace was the first color giallo, and that was the first time he experimented with that type of lighting. And it became pretty common in the genre. Argento used it a lot. He used it in Suspiria and Inferno in the most like saturated version of it. He had used it in other films previously, but that's when he really went crazy with it. So I think there's a lot of like flamboyant elements in giallo that queer culture really loved. But then the representation side of it was so horrible that it's like a love-hate relationship.
So in that video, you talk about that the gay community is not represented so well in giallo. When did that become something that you even noticed?
Right away. So when I saw Deep Red, I thought the protagonist, I forget the actor's name, but he's the star, he's in Blow Up. I thought the protagonist was clearly closeted and that it was going to be a plot point later, and it never happened. And I never, I talked to other film school people about it, and they thought I was reading into it too much. And I never heard anybody else feel the same way until when I got really into this project. I was doing some like dedicated research into like the academic side of giallo. And I found this paper by a guy, Michael McKenzie. He actually, he's one of the senior producers at Arrow Video. And he's an academic, and he wrote like a dissertation on gender representation in giallo. And he has a section on queer characters, and he goes through and breaks down why that character can be read as closeted, and my point is like everything that I thought I had read too far into the movie. And I was like, I'm right.
Validating.
Yeah, actually, it was so validating. This is kind of crazy, but he lives in Glasgow. I went to Glasgow and I met him for lunch.
Nice.
Wow.
How was that?
It was great. He's a really super, super knowledgeable dude. He knows like, Arrow Video, they, do the release. Yeah. He knows so much about not just giallo, but you know, lesser known horror in general. Yeah. And then there are other, it's not just that film, there's other there, considering that most giallo were like late 60s, early 70s, there was a surprising amount of queer characters, and they were always represented in kind of the same way, that, you know, queer women were super sexualized. It's just like, it's an obvious thing to do when you consider that everything was being written and directed by straight men. And then queer men were completely not sexualized. They weren't sexual at all. They were like comedic relief. They're always like older and overweight and bald. And I guess, you know, in that era, even later eras, that was a common thing to do with queer characters anyway, was to make them, you know, side characters. But in giallo, they were so key to the plot. Like, there's a whole subsection of giallo films where you have a female protagonist who's ostensibly straight, and then there's a queer female character who's trying to like lure them away from the conventional like married life path. And that person ends up being either the killer or somebody who gets killed. And they're always in the end like saved by some straight dude, you know? And so even though the bad representation was not uncommon for cinema at the time, the fact that they maintained the bad representation but made queer characters so important to the plot was really surprising. And who knows, maybe there was a bunch of closeted filmmakers that were made. I have no idea. But so yeah, I always just thought that there should be like queer people should just like reclaim giallo. And
do you think those are like supposed to be sort of like precautionary tale, watch out?
Oh, I'm sure they are. Yeah. Absolutely. That's part of it's also funny when you get like the special, like limited edition Blu-rays of any of these that have a lot of commentaries on them. Straight people doing commentary will often label certain giallo films as having like progressive or sensitive portrayals of queer characters. But if you're not straight and you're watching, you're like that, you consider that a sensitive portrayal. Yeah. But
and it's not even like the comical part of like having someone clown like, it's the creepiness. It's like making them creepy and predatory. Like, that's not.
When you would watch some of that before, so before you even know what giallo is as a term, before you're in film school, before you can really articulate like why this is bad or anything, when you would watch like representation like that in a horror movie, like how did that make you feel as a young person?
This isn't like a great perspective to have on it, I guess, as like, because I never I figured out that I was queer pretty young, and I never really felt I wasn't mad that was how the mainstream behaved, because in addition to being queer, I just always felt like an outsider anyway. And so I thought it actually was like cool to me that mainstream media positioned me essentially as an outsider, as something bad. Because when you're young, sometimes it seems cool to be the bad guy.
Yeah, to be the outsider.
So that's how I thought. I didn't find it offensive until I was older and was an adult and learned about how representations in media can affect people's real lives. But as a young person, I thought it was cool that other people were the bad guys. And I pretty young, like in high school, got into the whole like the lesbian threat theory in horror, and casting like lesbian vampires. And I remember the first time I saw Daughters of Darkness, and I was just like, it's so cool. But and then I became an adult, and I was like, oh, this is actually
not so cool.
There are shootings at nightclubs, gay nightclubs. It's like, maybe I should be concerned about this.
So last time I had you on, if people don't know, you can go and watch the previous interview. You had a music video playing the festivals. So what's a transition? What's the difference between filming or directing a music video and narrative?
Well, it's been a while since I've directed narrative, so I'll be able to answer it better when we're done shooting. But,
hopefully it's a positive experience.
Right? Yeah. I mean, there's two different purposes to them. That said, there are some. It depends on the type of music video, because there are some music videos that are essentially short films, and there are some music videos that are just, you can strip it all the way down to just be a performance video, which is as far from narrative as you can get. And I've done kind of a mix, I guess. One big difference is that you're really there for the artist in a music video. It's like very much about them as the central figure of everything that's going on, which I guess can happen if you're doing something narrative that's like a vehicle for a famous actor or something. But in most cases, there's not just one person that everybody's catering to when you're doing narrative. And if there is, it tends to be the director, which is not the case in music videos. And then obviously there's practical differences. Not recording sound, in most cases, makes music videos a lot easier. I also think the music video world, especially in recent times, is everything's done as cheap as possible, as quickly as possible. Music videos have really been devalued by the way people consume now. And not that hasn't necessarily happened to a certain extent in scripted world as well, but there's still a bit more of perceived prestige if you're doing narrative instead of a music video, as long as it's a project that has like a real budget and some known people attached.
I'm curious about when you went to film school, you made a choice, like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So what was the path to get there and to lead to where you are now? It's a big question.
Probably not the smartest path, but I grew up, I was born in Canada, but I grew up in a very small rural area in Washington State. And I didn't really decide until like I was right about to go to university that I wanted to go to film school. And I had applied, I think the only film school I had applied to was UBC. I had other intentions for American universities that I had applied to. I went and looked at some other film schools, but didn't apply to them, American ones. And I also wanted to leave the States, so UBC was attractive for that reason. And in film school, after film school, I worked in the industry locally in Vancouver for a while, and I didn't really know. I wanted to edit and I wanted to direct. I knew I wanted to do both. There was a very clear path to editing that sort of presented itself. So I went down that road. I worked as an assistant editor for a number of years and then worked as an editor. Started off in like the made-for-TV movie world, and then I made a bigger change moving to Toronto in 2011 and trying to start doing unscripted stuff just because I needed to change, and have done. I'm still doing that. I just wrapped a show as an editor, like a real luxury real estate show, kind of like Selling Sunset. Just wrapped a couple weeks ago, and got into music videos in Toronto, sort of not accidentally per se, but I wasn't actively pursuing them and ended up in them. And then that kind of, you do a few, get some recognition, then you get an agent, and then you do a bunch of them. But I haven't done one in quite a while.
Now, here you are. What gave you the ambition to do this particular project?
So I've like I was saying earlier, I've always thought that queer people should reclaim giallo, and I was at Film Quest. You're familiar with the festival, and they do an activity there called filmmaker speed dating, and in filmmaker speed dating, I met a queer screenwriter, Michael Clifton. He lives in Mexico City, and we were interested in each other, essentially. There was no project discussed that either of us were like, let's work on that, but we stayed in touch, and he sent me a bunch of scripts that he had been working on. One of them was something he had written specifically for a 1-minute film competition. So it was only 1 page long. And it had this image at the end of this guy, like, actually I can't say it because we use the image in Bath Bomb. There's an image at the end
It's very impressive.
that was very giallo.
Yeah.
And I had been looking for something that could be turned into giallo. And not like actively, but in the back of my mind. And I was like, oh my God, I have to, this could work. If we could flesh this out into longer than a minute. So him and I fleshed it out into a little over five pages. And yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where once it was done, it was like, well, I have to do this, you know, regardless of how it takes to get it done. And I was back at Film Quest this past year, 2022, with more music videos. Wow, it was kind of like a music documentary thing. I directed a digital series. It was a documentary on Motorhead. And so Movie Maker has like a partnership program where they help financially and also in an advocacy way promoting a project. And so I pitched Bath Bomb to them, and they came on board, which helps when you're pitching it to people like Jeremy Benning, the cinematographer. And that is what started getting the ball rolling. And then I got like private finance involved and Jeremy involved, and Teresa from Warpaint involved, and then launched the Indiegogo campaign to put together the last chunk of funding.
So we should mention there is the Indiegogo campaign, and I have the link on the website, and people can check that out. So the what are some of the perks involved in Bath Bomb?
Perks?
Yeah.
So, well, a pretty big perk, especially if you're a fan of Warpaint. So Warpaint, they've been kind of like an institution in indie rock for a long time. They're going on tour this year. They're doing back-to-back nights at Madison Square Garden if you want to go see them.
Oh,
And
wow.
the Teresa Wayman, who's one of the founding members, singer-guitarist, she is composing the score for us with her brother Ivan, who's a producer and engineer. He's worked with a ton of people. We mentioned in the deck that he's worked with Adele and The Killers and Carly Rae Jepsen, but he's also worked with like Weezer and Beck and a ton of people, Father John Misty. They're composing the score together, and they're stepping outside of their wheelhouse, because I wanted to do something that paid tribute to giallo. And, you know, Ennio Morricone and Risortolani and people like that did most of giallo scores. So they're like experimental jazz. So they're doing a jazz-based score, even though that's not what they usually do.
Yeah.
And we're offering it on vinyl through the Indiegogo campaign only. It's the only place you'll be able to get a physical copy of the score. So that's a cool perk. And then, you know, we have the usual perks, credits. There's a whole series of credits. There's a special thanks credit, associate producer, co-producer, producer, executive producer, all for, you know, different amounts of money. Those all come with a t-shirt, digital version of the film when it's done, a digital version of the score, and like a high, you know, like an uncompressed version, the script, and then also a print of the poster. And as was mentioned in the little video you guys played, our poster was designed by Creepy Duck, who, in my opinion, is the best.
Yeah, there's a lot of you know, really cool horror movies over the last few years.
Yeah, he did Barbarian, he did The Black Phone, he did Terrifier 2, which you guys were talking about in the previous interview. He did the last 2 Scream movies, the Hellraiser reboot. You were talking about the folk horror Ennis.
Oh, Ennis Man, yeah.
He did that. He did Cocaine Bear.
That's amazing. So how did you get this guy? Here you are making a short. How did you draw this in?
Like I said, you just pitch to people, man. You send them an email, you know, and
yeah, the worst you can hear back is no.
Well, and an advantage that you have with a short too is that if you're asking somebody to read your script in an email, it's only 5 pages. It's pretty, you know, it's not. And then also part of the pitch too is that this is supposed to be the first step in. Michael, the writer, and I have a series of queer giallo features that we're in the process of writing.
Oh, interesting.
Very nice.
I was going to ask about that, like if the eventual idea, depending on how this goes and everything, if you would like to make a feature.
Yeah. So, you familiar with Ryan Spindell, Mortuary Collection?
I'm not.
Mortuary.
It's a anthology horror film. It's on
Okay.
Shudder.
Oh yeah, I know what it is. It's got I forget the actor's name, but the guy who's kind of the crypt keeper in it
Yeah,
is
no, Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown. Yeah, I'm a
Wow.
huge fan of his. Yeah.
Yeah, so the kind of the way that came about is he made one of the segments in that is called the Babysitter Murders,
Hmm.
where it turns out that the babysitter is the murderer in the end. And so, sorry, I spoiled it for anybody who's going to watch it. I met Ryan on the festival circuit. He made that first as a short, and then tried to get essentially using that as a means to get the anthology made.
Wow.
Unlike most anthologies, he wrote and directed all the segments and the frame narrative. So you're kind of pitching something that you've already, if the short was successful, which his was, you have a proof already that it's successful.
Mm-hmm.
You also have proof that you can make it, and you're pitching a project that's already partially complete. So it's a lot of things going for you. So that's what we're intending to do with Bath Bomb. The first feature that we have planned is an anthology.
Has there ever been giallo anthology?
Not a full giallo, and well, it depends. There was the TV series Door into Darkness that Dario Argento produced and directed one of the episodes of, but that was a TV series, so it's not a film, but
Right.
episodic, more like Twilight Zone style. But giallo did start. One of the first giallo films was a short in an anthology that was not otherwise giallo. But it's very notable because the film called Black Sabbath, directed by Mario Bava, was the intersection of giallo and metal happening at the same time. So the short in it, Il Telefono, is the giallo short. About it's the first time in film where you have the killer's on the phone and reveals that he can see you and all that stuff.
Oh wow!
Like it's 1963 that started that whole thing. Countless horror films have obviously taken that. And at the same time, when that came out, Black Sabbath was actually the band was called Earth at the time, and they were a blues rock band. And they wanted to
I actually didn't know that. But yeah.
They wanted to change their sound. And they didn't want to do like the hippie rock thing, which is what everybody was doing, especially in the States. And in the UK, people were kind of emulating it, even though they didn't have the same hippie movement that the US did. They wanted to do their own thing. And Geezer Butler, the bassist, who also writes the lyrics, and Ozzy were outside smoking after they're outside of the rehearsal space that they had, and across the street, the movie Black Sabbath was playing in theaters, and they were commenting to each other about, isn't it crazy that people would pay money to be afraid? And that gave them the idea to write the song Black Sabbath, which was on the album Black Sabbath, which was their first album as the band Black Sabbath. And the lyrics of it are based on Geezer Butler's sleep paralysis nightmares that he had at the time. That's why it starts with the figure in black that points at me as the lyrics. He used to dream of a figure in black at the end of his bed pointing at him.
Oh, wow.
That's an amazing story and an awesome song. And that's super cool. Thank you for sharing this. That's
yeah. So that's the plan. Eventually, it would be a giallo
anthology feature.
Yeah, I love the idea.
Yeah, and then we have another giallo after that, like proper feature that's kind of a turn on conversion therapy. And then we have giallo body horror plan after that.
You're gonna bring back the giallo.
That's the plan. I mean,
I know there's been some in the last few years.
It's also never really died because slasher is just giallo without the mystery, and there are some slashers that are more giallo than the others. Like Scream is arguably giallo, because the big change that slasher made from giallo is that the movies are about the slasher, the person. You go to see Halloween movies because of Mike Myers. You go to see Friday the 13th movies because of Jason. You go to see Elm Street movies because of Freddy. And in giallo, it wasn't some mysterious subhuman or inhuman figure that was killing people. It was like one of your friends. It was somebody in your social circle. And that's, you spend the bulk of the movie trying to figure out who it is. And that's what Scream is,
Yeah, the big reveal of who's under the mask.
Yeah, and then I guess most slashers also removed the erotic element of giallo. But there were plenty of giallo that didn't lean into that anyway. Like Argento didn't have much eroticism in his films, and he was the biggest.
So one of the videos I thought was really interesting about the music, and you said there's going to be like a reel to reel on the. So like the music, the score will actually be part of like the movie itself.
Yeah, so kind of like what they do in giallo, where there was a trend there where you would have scenes that start with like somebody putting on a record or somebody pressing play on a reel to reel, and it's like a song that is obviously a song that exists in their world. But then as stuff happens in the scene, the song would change like based on the emotion of the scene. You're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know if they were doing it to be clever or what, but we're going to do the same thing. So Teresa and Ivan have already done some like temping stuff just to experiment. But the plan is when the film is finished, they will compose to the film so that the song changes with the emotional beats of the scene. But in the same as those movies, the very first thing you see in the scene is one of the characters presses play on a reel to reel, and you hear the song, and it's very romantic for the ostensibly romantic bath that he set up.
Interesting.
I was as you were saying that, I'm imagining it in my head. Is this going to be a period piece itself?
It's going to be kind of no. It's not. It's going to have retro vibes to it, but there's a smartphone is a key component of it. So no, it will look, period-ish.
Which is cool. I like that though, because I feel like you're bringing giallo to the now.
Yeah,
like reel to reel, and I was like, oh, I wonder if this is what his plan is. But
I mean, there is a queer giallo, which I mentioned. I didn't mention my name in that video because I haven't like fully scoured the depths of the internet to make sure that I'm right. But I'm pretty sure the only queer giallo that really is a giallo is Knife and Heart.
I played at Boston Underground Film Festival a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was nominated for the Queer Palm at Cannes when it came out. It was a very successful film, and it's excellent. But that's a period piece, and yeah, I love that movie. It's one of the movies that gave me confidence that people would give a shit if somebody made a queer giallo. But yeah, it's a period piece. It didn't really modernize it. And then there's other modern giallo films that are just kind of more a joke or a tribute.
Mm-hmm.
Like I forget their names. The pair.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. The producers, is it editor? The editor.
Oh, the editor. Well, that one's hilarious too. But also, French team that made Amer and The Strange Color of Your Body's Tears, which are like stylistic love letters to giallo that were also very acclaimed critically, like Euro festival circuit type success, but aren't actually giallo. I wouldn't say they're just like tributes to giallo stylistically. And then also giallo's been coming back in terms of people name dropping it in interviews. Like James Wan said that Malignant was his version of giallo, and if you pay attention, he's obviously dropping hints. Like when they show her/his outfit in the attic, it's all the stuff that you've seen of the outfit, but there's also a fedora hanging, which never gets worn in the movie, but it's just because he's like, it's giallo. Yeah. And that is, even the twist at the ending of that is, with the back of the head thing. Like I love
that movie.
Yeah,
that was another movie, so not quite to the level of Terrifier 2, but it was fun seeing it in a theater when like normal people who think like they're it's James Wan, we're gonna see a new one of like a mainstream movie, and it's totally batshit crazy.
I'm not a huge James Wan fan. I love that movie so much.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
When people didn't get it, like, I even went with friends who are like cinema nerds, and there's a couple of conversations in it that the dialogue is so on the nose and horrible. But if you've seen giallo, it's not just he's trying to be giallo. There are specific scenes in giallo movies that he's obviously pointing to, and people are like, "Oh my god, this is so terrible!" And I'm like, "No, you don't get it. It's supposed to be that way."
Mhm.
Yeah, I love that movie so much. And Edgar Wright, said that Last Night in Soho was a love letter to.
Oh, that's another movie both of us really liked at the
Yeah.
theater.
That was a beauty.
Not all the special effects really landed properly for me, especially in that final confrontation scene when things are burning and stuff.
I do think CG fires never.
It's a hard one to.
Yeah.
It's a big risk, especially in like an emotionally important scene. I'd say to really put so much importance and focus on an effect like that, because if it's not being sold to somebody, that person's not going to be attached to the emotion either, because they're distracted by that doesn't look real. And that's how I felt. I was like,
yeah.
But
I was probably into it at that time and kind of looked over the fire. But you're right, though.
Yeah.
The CG blood and fire are never. A lot of things you can use to enhance something, but the fire and blood just always takes you out of it, I think.
Yeah, it's tough. Interesting choice, but
yeah.
the logistics.
No spoilers. There are a lot of CG blood in Renfield. No, not to spoil Renfield.
That's actually interesting. Our executive producer, his name's Ronnie Exley. He's an interesting dude. He only recently started getting into film, but he has his hands in a lot of different endeavors. And he's actually an EP on the next Nick Cage horror movie.
Oh, really? That's very cool.
Horror movie. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed pretty much. I don't know if all of them, but I've enjoyed most of his recent films since Mandy. Mandy's great.
Best. This is the best part of his career.
I agree 100%.
Pig was amazing.
Oh, Pig's great.
That's his best performance.
That's
really?
That's
I need to see
awesome movie.
Oh my god, I cried during that movie. The dinner.
Putting it in my notes.
The dinner.
Yeah,
crazy. And then
because a lot of the other movies, it's Cage being Cage, which I love, but Pig is like an actual really good performance.
Oh
yeah, absolutely, it's incredible. I even loved him in. The movie lost my interest after a while, but I loved him all the way through. It was the one where he's fighting
talk. He's got no lines in the whole movie.
Movie.
Yeah,
that was so good.
It's
and then
Willy's Wonderland.
Oh, Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah.
Have you seen Color Out of Space?
Yeah,
that was really good too. I thought I liked him in it a lot.
I love the body horror in it.
Yeah, and is it not? It's a Lovecraft story, is it not?
Yeah, it's very loose.
Okay.
Based on.
I remember reading that. I didn't really follow up.
Parents was good too, with him and Lance Henriksen.
Yes. Oh, I forgot about that.
Parents. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I just rewatched that. I forgot about him being in it. What a great movie.
Yeah. And even I like it's not a horror movie or anything, but the action movie when the unbearable weightness or whatever it's called.
Massive Talent. I haven't seen it yet.
It's very fun.
But I want to badly.
Yeah. That one's very fun, and it's funny how it becomes the action movie that they're kind of making fun of as it goes on.
Yeah.
And there's a weird thing that I was curious about in the movie, because his favorite movie is the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. And I was like, that's such an obscure movie to bring up as his favorite. I just wonder if that's if there's a lot of truth to some of the stuff about him in the movie. And then he had supposedly he was all about playing Dracula in Renfield. So I think maybe he is into these weird old horror movies. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Have you heard about The Tomb? I mean, the guy.
Oh yeah, they do our theme song, The Tomb of Nick Cage. So yeah.
Kill your man. So I'm totally by it. He's an odd guy.
Were you there, Annabelle, when we were in Georgia and someone gave us their theory about the actual tomb of Nick Cage? Because they said he built it around the time he started getting in trouble with the IRS. And legally, I don't think you can actually go into someone's tomb. So there's a theory that he hid all his valuable stuff in his
I
tomb.
won't get into it, but there's some political stuff that happened within the last year. Someone putting a grave and for financial reasons. Yeah. So yeah, there's all kinds of interesting grades.
Sounds like I need to get myself a tomb.
Yeah, pop it down.
Exactly.
I don't have anything to put in it, but if I do.
You'll have it prepared for the time you.
Right. So, are you doing your own editing on Bath?
Yeah, that's the plan. And we're doing it like it's going to be very, I don't know, percentage of your audience that knows giallo, but it's going to be very giallo. Like there's
Well, I'll be honest. I sent the link actually earlier to my friends Michael and Sophia because they love giallo, and I was like, I think you guys would really be interested in this project. And you even in one of the videos you even brought up a term that they always reference, and I was like, I don't know what this means, but this was the first time I saw someone else reference it. It was, I forget, it's a shot where like there's like a character behind a character, and like they're both in focus.
The diopter shot.
Yeah. Because Sophia's really big on that, and they use it in one of their films. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like that was huge in giallo, was the using a split diopter so that people who are far away from each other are both in focus, but there's like a blurred border between them. That's the slip in the focus. And we're going to use that in the film. And they did a lot of, opening, you'd start a scene close up on an object that's important to the scene, and then slowly zoom out to like reveal the context of the scene. And sometimes they would get crazy with it. Like, it'd be like, they'd zoom it out for like a minute, and you go from like an ornament to like you're outside a person's house. And so we're opening with the scene with a long cool zoom like that. And I think that zooms and inserts can be used so creatively, especially in the way that you reveal information to an audience. And with all of the advancements in Steadicam and different dolly movements and the crazy shit that you can do now with automated versions of dollies and tracking, people really don't use them as much as they used to. And I'm excited to kind of bring that back. I wish more people did, because it now stands out when people do it because it's not done so much. And there's so much can be revealed or not revealed that way, that in an intelligent way.
So it's indiegogo.com/project/bath-bomb.
If you just
hashtag.
do bathbombhorror.com.
All right. Well, that's way easier. That's way easier. Yeah.
Redirects right to it.
Yeah. That's a smart way to do it, because I know some of the campaign sites don't give you the greatest.
I mean, that's why we did it, because we're like, oh, this is our link. Are we going to tell that to people?
Right, exactly.
So yes, bathbombhorror.com, everyone. Go.
All right, I'll start using that one instead. So I hate to ask this. People will yell at me. They did last time. They're like, don't be so negative. But I have to ask, if it doesn't hit the goal, will you still make Bath Bomb?
The answer is yes, but I wish you didn't ask, because I feel like when we tell people that, they're less likely to donate.
Interesting.
Essentially, it's just like, there's an amount of money that we could make it for, and there's an amount of money that we could make it the best it could be for. And that's what the campaign's purpose is especially once Jeremy was involved, the cinematographer, and then I started talking with him about like what our intended schedule was, and then how he would prefer to do it. It's, I've never worked on something at the level that he has.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if you've seen The Expanse, but
I've not. But I've heard I've heard a lot about it. I've not watched it though.
Yeah. So I mean, the no offense to any other aspect of that show, but most people, in at least film people that I know, the reason they heard about that show and were attracted to it is because of the cinematography. Unlike most shows where directing episodic is similar to being a cinematographer on episodic, where it's many different people are doing it. They brought him in long before they started shooting to kind of figure out the look, and then he stayed on as the primary cinematographer for all 6 seasons, which does not happen. And he it looks incredible, but that's like a very high budget version of how you can execute an idea. So it was, it's great to hear from somebody like that's perspective of like how how any script that you're handed would be done on that level.
Mhm.
And so that's what we want to aim for. I mean, the campaign goal is at 25K. That's what we're asking for. We're over halfway there now, but there was already a bunch of money in this. There's already a bunch of money put in from private sources and from Movie Maker Magazine before we launched the campaign for this 25K. But yeah, if you especially if you're going to be involved anyway by donating to something, you might as well help it get as much as possible so that it's
of course. You want it to be as good as possible,
becomes
right?
the best that it could possibly be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Then you can
thinking
tell
about it
people's
even on
stories.
like a most basic horror way of thinking about it is if you think about like a monster and what it could be low budget and what it could be with a big budget.
Yeah.
It makes quite a difference in your experience of that film.
Yeah, and speaking to, you had Devanny Pinn on right before me. You can do a lot with not a lot of money, and you can even with monsters and things by not showing the monster most of the time. You guys were both. Everybody was referencing that moment in Signs where you see the thing run across the. That's frightening because you don't see it previously, right? And all of those things are possible, but in our case, we're attempting to pay tribute to and recreate, like bring back a genre that had a specific look to it and did things a specific way. And if we're going to emulate that style accurately, it needs to be at that caliber. And there are plenty of horrible giallo movies made for no money, but the ones that made that genre as influential as it was, like if you think of movies like Suspiria, the original and stuff like that, they go all out in production design. They go all out in the cinematography. Obviously there's some effects that didn't age well, but at the time were pretty crazy. So yeah, we need to do that because we're not in a situation where we're like, oh, we could be creative in the way that this is low budget. We're in a situation where we have a specific target that we have already said we're trying to hit. So in terms of the style and the look of it and the quality, so we need to do that as best as we can.
And then when it's finished, I assume the plan is to hit festivals?
Yeah. So kind of our main goal, submission deadline for Sitges is July 17th. So we're planning to shoot second weekend in June and be ready to submit to Sitges. And, as you know, Sitges is like...
Yeah, it's huge.
For
a
horror,
big genre,
that's Sitges and Midnight Madness program at TIFF are kind of like the biggest.
Yeah,
Fantastic Fest also kind of not at quite the same level, but similar.
So you've had previous experience playing the festival, so I assume that gave you just some knowledge of which ones to try to hit, and maybe even some you don't have to name them, but some ones that aren't necessarily worth playing it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I've also, even before, outside of submitting my own stuff, I've just have gone to festivals as a viewer.
Mm-hmm. You're a great time.
Yeah, I did it more before streaming became as inclusive as it is now, because now it's like a lot of stuff that was...
Yeah, because it used to be a lot of stuff, if you didn't see it at the festival, you might never see it again, especially shorts.
Exactly. Yeah, especially genre stuff that was not playing theatrical other than in a festival. There wasn't much chance of it showing up anywhere later that you were going to see it. But now, yeah, like because of stuff like Shudder and Tubi and Arrow Video has their own streaming service too. A lot of stuff gets out there, so I probably attend less than I used to because of that, but I still do love to go. I like to travel to festivals as well. Like I love Berlin. That's a great festival. I live in Toronto, so I do TIFF every year and go to Midnight Madness, which is awesome.
Yeah. I just want to say, when I said there's some maybe not worth, I don't want to say like a smaller festival isn't worth going to, because I think a lot of them have different pluses to go to. But there are some that are almost scams out there that people have to, look out for.
Right. I've luckily have not
that
Ryan
really
goes-
actually don't even play their movies, or might play them like in like on a projector or something.
Yeah, I've heard these things, but when with my own work, like with music videos that I was submitting to festivals, I would ask around, in addition to just
Yeah.
looking at their profiles on things like Film Freeway and such. I would also ask, I usually would want to know at least one person who had been to it before I submitted, just to make sure, because yeah, there is a lot out there. There was an article that somebody wrote, like a big, I don't know, maybe it was Movie Maker or something, about quote unquote scam festivals that, and it kind of broke down how you can actually make money as a scam festival through.
Yeah, because you take like so much money for people
Yeah.
to submit to it, and
Yeah.
you send out like a award, awards for basically everyone who sends anything, and
Yeah, and if you do it for X number of years, you qualify to be, exist on IMDb and stuff like that.
Mm.
Which seems like IMDb should have more. It should be harder than just how many years have you existed?
yeah, I've been
Okay.
around, and I'm sure there's ways to even get around that to like
Yeah, probably.
because I'm sure they're not there like looking at every single thing. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of benefits to like I don't want to just say it's awesome obviously to play the big prestigious ones, but there's a lot of benefits to playing the other smaller ones, and like you said, to ask around. Especially depending what you're looking for, because you might want to go to interact with people and find people that you want to work with.
Film Quest is my favorite festival that I've been to, and it's not huge.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it has notoriety in the genre crowd, but it's definitely not like a big premiere festival. But because of like the community vibe of it, I mean, as I mentioned, that's how this is happening, is because of Film Quest. And it's very unpretentious, so it's easy to just walk around and talk to people. That's where I met Ryan Spindell and the team behind Mortuary Collection. I also, another year I went there, met the team behind The Old Ways.
Yeah. I had the director on the show, I believe.
Yes, I am blanking on his name, but
that's why I said the director.
Spent a bunch of time with him as well, and the producer. One of the producers of that, Krista Barini, who also she worked on like Cam.
That was a good movie.
Yeah. Her and I became friends. And I mean, at this past year, Georgina Campbell starred in Barbarian.
You're right.
She was in a short that was at.
Yeah, I didn't even realize this, but she sat in front of us at and when we were in LA at
You can do it.
Screamfest.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't know, but after she might not have sat in front of us, Annabelle, but I think she was sitting in front of Michael and Sophia.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find it's just so people seem to have their guard down at a festival like that, whereas, I've gone to plenty of industry things at TIFF, and because everybody makes such a big deal about you if you're in a movie, that and there's like a PR team that's handling you, et cetera, you're less accessible as a person, and I think you tend to behave in a more guarded way. I have friends who have directed bigger things or been in bigger things who aren't even that type of person, but when they're being treated like they're important at a bigger festival, it makes them kind of feel like they need to be a bit more guarded, oh, these people are telling me that I shouldn't be talking to these people, that I need to go over here instead. So I guess that's who I am, and that's what I'm doing,
Right.
So yeah, I like the very unpretentious, easy.
Yeah, that's something I bring up, is the community feel. A lot of like ours in here in Boston, South Texas Underground Film Festival. But there's something about like it's a lot of the same people that go every year, and and then there'll be other people come in and out and stuff. But like afterwards, everyone hangs out together. The filmmakers, people who are just watching the movies. Everyone of every level.
Yeah, and they do like.
There's something about, I think, two ones that have one screen. Because I've been to ones that have like many screens, and that's cool. But there's something about everyone watching the movies together, I think.
Yeah, for sure. That's Film Quest is like that. Also, what's his name? They do, if you can strike the balance between like being smaller, but still having like the guests that you have doing talks and stuff being big people. Because again, at Film Quest, I hope Jonathan watches this, the director of Film Quest, because he's gonna think it's hilarious how much I'm referencing them. But they've had the president of Saban Films on a number of times to talk to you about distribution and what it takes to get your project in front of a distributor and what they're looking for. The one year that I was there, they had Brian Woods, one of the writers of A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2, do a talk about screenwriting and how he got that project. Him and his writing partner, whose name I'm forgetting, got that project in front of an agency to get made, to get somebody like what's his name attached, John Krasinski. So like legitimately valuable stuff, but in like this very unpretentious setting where you can walk up and talk to him at the ending of the talk. He's not like whisked away to nothing. Yeah, but I still do think I love TIFF and I love Berlin.
Yeah.
So not to take anything away from those. It's different.
Yeah.
It's a different experience. Yeah. I mean, Midnight Madness at TIFF, I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but that is like the greatest program that exists at any film festival in the world, in my opinion.
Wow.
It's just this beautiful, it used to be at the Ryerson Theater, which was just like a massive theater on a university campus. And post COVID, they moved it to like an older, historic, gorgeous theater, like where you would go see like, plays or like the opera or something.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful. And there's this whole culture surrounding Midnight Madness where, they like release beach balls into the crowd before the movie starts.
That's awesome.
And there's a whole call for the previews that play before the movie. And like when they put up the piracy warning, don't record it. Everybody in the crowd goes, "Arr!" for piracy. And just they had great Q&As with the filmmakers. We did when they did Pearl this past year.
Oh, nice.
We got to be the first audience that saw the teaser for Maxine at the end, and a great Q&A with Ty West and Mia Goth. Yeah, it's an incredible program.
I'm gonna find this because I love that the community feel is definitely I love watching all the shorts, of course, but without that community.
I think one of the reasons that Midnight Madness is so cool is because even though it's at TIFF, it does have its own community feel to it. Because like all the people who are into horror and extreme cinema, whether it's horror or not, are who show up for that because that's what they play. And it's kind of like its own separate community. Like they have their own Midnight Madness launch party. Yeah, it's like a subculture within TIFF, which is cool.
So besides the Bath Bomb Indiegogo page, which the link was
bathbombhorror, all one word.com.
Exactly. Where else can people follow you to see what you're up to, or maybe just want to go to bathbombhorror.com?
I'm on Instagram. Also at bathbombhorror on I don't know what all the social media platforms
are
young, but Instagram.
Yeah, I'm sure there's it might be on MySpace or Friendster, but
yeah. We don't have a TikTok. We don't have a.
I actually have a TikTok. I feel kind of ashamed to say, but yeah.
I hear that's a good way to market to people these days, but
it actually, pretty good.
I wouldn't know how to use it, so we don't have it. But then also, I'm on. I only use Instagram as an individual, and that's just my name, Colin G Cooper, all one word.
Someone whose name is Y. Go, Colin. Good work on your film. I really want to see a New Village video. Can't wait to see Bath Bomb.
Why? That's an interesting name.
Yeah.
Nice.
Troy's here. Oh, yeah. I actually missed all these. I'm sorry. New Village video. Can't wait to see Bath Bomb.
Well, thank you. I think we follow each other on Twitter from the Bath Bomb account.
Oh, nice. Yeah. New Village video. Very cool people.
Mm-hmm.
I meet a lot of great film people at all levels at Mad Monster. Not a film festival, but a great film community on all levels, from fans to filmmakers.
What is that? What is Mad Monster?
Mad Monster Party. It's a horror convention, but I believe they also do they do show.
Yeah.
I think they have a film. I don't know a festival, but they have screenings, I believe.
And where does
They're in Charlotte and Arizona.
That's it now? They used to be like.
Yeah, I think those are the two that they do. They may do other ones, but those are the two main ones that they do every year.
Every year.
Yeah. And a cheap plug, that's where we filmed the Once and Future Smash. My feature that's playing festivals right now was at Mad Monster.
Cool.
They're cool people. All right. Bath Bomb, a great poster, which I was glad. It was nice that you gave credit to the guy who made the poster. He did a great job. And,
he's also not just going to give him credit on that. I would love to plug him as much as possible. He's like a dream to work with. He's one of the few people I've ever worked with where if you send him an email, he will send you an email back within minutes.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Excellent.
And he never, there was some really picky shit that I was asking to get changed on that. And he never was like, always responded immediately.
Yeah.
No problem. Often would respond, I would say, oh, can we do this? Can we do that? And he would respond with the changes done. There was no constant.
I think it's an interesting possible guest idea, actually, to talk to someone who designed a lot of cool posters.
And I mean, he's, hopefully he doesn't turn into less of a nice guy, because I feel like the really big stuff that he's been doing is pretty recent within the past couple of years. But I mean, he does like any big horror movie that has come out in the past couple of years, or most of them, not any, but most of them, he probably designed a poster for.
Yeah. Why Again Go Colin? We did that one. Oh no, this is a different. This is Why Again. Oh no, it's the same one. I'm sorry. We'll just post it again. Why? It doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll give them extra credit. It's fine.
Yeah, I wonder if he would be interested in an interview. I know because he does use the alias. So I don't know if maybe he's purposely not. I do know.
He's got something. Are you saying he's got something to hide here? But no,
alias.
Don't want to be public people.
Alias.
Yeah, I would be interested. Oh, that's very true. That's very true, Annabelle, I guess. But yeah. All right. Well, this has been great, and we should do it again sometime.
Yeah, we will for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, when the movie comes out, we'll
we'll
do.
Yeah, and I'm sure Annabelle's. Well, we're looking forward to seeing Bath Bomb.
Yes.
So if you're in Boston, you're saying
we're both like slightly outside of Boston. Then we meet to watch movies
in Boston, right?
Well, maybe I should submit to Boston Underground then.
Yeah, it's a very cool festival.
It is. It's great.
It's definitely on my radar. I am familiar. So
bring a cushion.
A cushion?
It is another very, very old theater. It's beautiful, it's wonderful. It's got great history.
Yeah.
Really, really interesting.
And I was happy it's the Brattle Theater survived COVID because it was a lot of the older theaters like that. It was I thought maybe they would close during the shutdown, but it stayed open.
Yeah, that was definitely for sure.
But yeah, it just happened a few weeks ago. We were there, so but it'll be up next March, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when Boston Underground is?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. We'll still
maybe it'll be the on the final legs of the,
we'll still hopefully be
festival.
doing festivals at that time.
Right. Or maybe it's something to look forward to for the feature at some point.
Yeah.
Creepy duck art. Thank you, Village. New Village video.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
I like the name too. I'm interested now the history of creepy duck art, where that came from.
Yeah, I didn't ask him. I sent him this thing. I don't know. Do you guys know the giallo? The New York
Ripper.
Yeah.
And the killer in it talks in the Donald Duck act.
Okay, yeah, right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I told him about that. I was like, your name reminds me of. You could call that character Creepy Duck. Yeah.
There's Paul Bear Press put out a really cool shirt. I almost bought it, but it's like too graphic, I think, for me to walk around. I wear some graphic stuff, but I don't want to freak people out too much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been good calling, and we'll talk to you soon. And good luck with Bath Bomb.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
We'll invest.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, love to see it.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so we're going to get Tara on here from New Village Video to talk about some stuff. So if you're listening, Tara, you can join in. And I should have had a video ready to play here, but clearly I'm on top of things.
Oh, we didn't even say goodbye.
Oh, I didn't want him to think he had to leave. He did not have to leave. But I do actually have some videos here.
Oh, I thought you chopped him. I was like,
Oh,
Neil,
no,
you just dumped this poor
I wouldn't
man.
do that. I think he thought I was trying to get rid of him, but I wasn't. All right, I believe Tara is ready. So we'll add Tara in. Do you want to play a video quick? Are you good to keep going?
Play it.
All right. Play a video?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to play a short video here, and while Tara joins us, we're going to play the Meep trailer. So I asked people if you guys want to send in videos for us to play weekly on the show. You can do that at withoutyourhead@gmail.com. And this is the Meep teaser from Kenneth Perkins. So we're going to play this while Tara joins us.
Oh.
Hello. We're just going to play a quick trailer, and we'll be right back.
All right.
It's a minute.
Yesterday was the worst day of my life.
It's over. You know, I can't help run this company and be married to you. Trish and I, we got big plans. It's bigger than this marriage.
I just shot someone. Give me a couple of days to figure it out.
But why? Jane, why the hell are you keeping that thing in your house?
I guess I owe it.
All right, that looks pretty sweet.
That's creepy. What
Yes.
about this fine trailer we've got popping up? It seems like a good trailer to play.
No, it's in the private messages
Yes!
here. I have multiple screens here. I'll get the hang of this eventually.
It is still new. It is still new, this whole StreamYard thing, but...
All right.
Hi, Tara. Tara?
Hi, it's Tara.
Tara. Okay. Good to know.
That's
Alright.
okay. It's just as common the other way.
So we're gonna play the new. Should we play this right now, or should we talk about it? All right, we're gonna play this right now. Then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. All right.
Go.
Here we go. Here we go. Working like a charm. Here we go.
Oh, yes.
Warning, the following preview is not suitable for most audiences. Now available on New Village Video.
Please don't. I'll repay the money. Please don't do it. No, please, no. Parker, please, no. Mitchell, fuck's sake, help me. For fuck's sake, man. You made your point. Now let go.
Mitchell, unless you want to trade places with Smithy, shut the fuck up.
Right, let's get rid of these fuckers, eh?
At this time, does the defendant have anything to say in response to the prosecutor's statement?
Your Honor.
the very best of modern grindhouse, art house, and indie genre films. Visit newvillagevideo.com, where the grindhouse never stops.
All right, we're back here once again, and that looks amazing. Yay. All those look wild.
Yes.
I am very excited.
In my facial expression, I was like,
oh,
I was all over the place. That was super, super cool.
Oh, that's great. I'm so glad you liked it.
Loved it.
Yeah, New Village Video, you got a little taste. Got a little taste of the madness on there. I'm so excited to be here with you too, and it's nice to meet you, Annabelle.
Yeah, it's very nice to meet you as well.
You're so beautiful.
Oh,
and for people not aware, this is Tara Hutchison.
You are very beautiful as well, and I like your red backdrop.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah, we are filming this from our studio in downtown Phoenix. We do a lot of like promo photo shoots in here, and we just did one on this backdrop, but I kept it because it's so pretty. I'm just like, I just want to enjoy it a little longer.
It's very nice. I like it.
Yeah. So New Village Video. Give us we just watched a really cool trailer with some wild movies that we're going to be able to see on New Village Video. Give us the pitch. What is New Village Video?
Yes. So New Village Video is an online rental store, and it brings you the best in modern grindhouse, art house, and indie genre films. We have films right now in our store from all over the world. We have them from Japan, from Brazil. That last video clip with that bird like jumping on people's face,
which I was a big fan of. I'm a big fan of movies that use inanimate objects to attack.
yeah, that one's from I think it's called The Black Forest.
Yeah,
and it's kind of a pretty like up and coming like Brazilian director. He uses all practical effects. It's really interesting to be seeing horror films coming out of there, and it's crazy how no one has even heard of these films, and the production quality is amazing, the acting is amazing, the locations are crazy. They're just so like, there's a part where, you know, a guy in a whorehouse has like a lawnmower and like hoses down a bunch of zombies because they get a disease from this fish that this fisherman like get up, you know. So it's just all the actors go all in. There's no ego. It kind of feels like how the 80s felt in horror, where it was all practical effects. Everyone was happy to be there. People were hungry, you know? And it just feels like a lot of the films we try to curate, we want people that are hungry, you know? Mm-hmm. And so another one of the trailers you saw was Lucifer's Satanic Daughter.
I wrote down a couple. I had a couple I wrote down, and that was one. Black Forest was one.
Oh, please, Annabelle, watch it. It's so good. It's this kid. He is American, but he moved to Australia and filmed this film. Most of the actors he got were from like music festivals of like girls he recruited. And it's just filmed in the outback. It's basically based on the true story of the Acid King, who I'm sure you've heard of him, like sacrificed his friend to Satan. So it's based off of that. And the Acid King in the film sacrifices his friend to Satan so he could get the devil's acid, or like LSD. So they call this like horrible hag into existence with the sacrifice, and she makes like this brew of LSD, and then they take it, and that's the movie, is people being on the devil's LSD. It's so good, and the kid's just so young who made it.
Lucifer's Satanic Daughter. LSD.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even put that together.
That's pretty good.
So, when you're curating these movies, like, how does that come about? Do people send them to you? Do you guys go out and look for them?
Sometimes, yeah, it's kind of a mix of everything. Sometimes we just come across something. Sometimes we research people. Sometimes, like Day of Violence or Beyond Fury, it's the same director. We have 2 of his films. He's from England, and he just like stopped making movies. randomly, you know, and his films are so like the practical effects of the violence. That's why I've had to leave the room sometimes during his films.
It was like closing lawn clippers or hedge trimmers. It was just like, oh my.
Yeah, it's definitely that was actually pretty tame. Like, but it's so good, and the director is just so fun. And oh yeah, I have to look that song up.
This is Colin still in here, and I didn't mean Colin that you had to leave quickly. So, but a great song about the Acid King by Malibu Ken, Aesop Rock and Tobacco.
And Barbie's come up in this time together. No, Malibu.
I believe the director that you're talking about here, Darren Ward. Brutal director.
Darren Ward. Yeah, he's so fun. Like Larry, the other owner of New Village Video, talks with him. Sometimes we really try to have like a personal relationship with all of the directors, because we give 70% of all the rentals to the filmmakers, because filmmakers aren't making any money.
Yeah.
They'll have like, we have paid more filmmakers than, you know, like Netflix or Tubi has paid. They only pay like what, a penny a watch hour?
Yeah.
You know, that's like, they deserve more than that, because then they give up. Like, if they're not making money and they're not getting anything back when they're poor trying to make these films, what's the point? You know, so we're really trying to bring back indie, like bring back people that are hungry and get them paid.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, we pay you because we don't want you to give up so you can make more movies and then put them on New Village Video.
Neil was talking about earlier about producers, and we both have independent film friends, and it's like the idea of making money is like, it just, good luck with that. Like, you kind of
most people I know, they do other things, and then their movies that they make are more just almost a hobby, really. You know.
Yeah, it's really sad, because there's so many talented people out there that shouldn't be giving up. They shouldn't. Like, there's no point. They should be still making films. As long as they can make them, they deserve it as much as anybody else. You know, so that's like something like I'm really passionate about, curating films, and how humble some of these directors are too. They're so nice. And actually this Sunday, we're showing one of the films for free on kick.com. It's kind of like Twitch, where you can do live streams. We have a show every Sunday. It's premiering this Sunday, called The Sunday Grind at 6 p.m. And we're going to be showing the film Mask the
That's
King.
Arizona time? So,
Yes,
so 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
Yes. And the film we're showing is Mask the Keiko. It's actually based off a Japanese manga.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about, I mean, it's banned a lot of places, so that's why we haven't heard of it. There's nothing even that crazy in it. It's just about it is pretty crazy, but not to me, I guess. But it's basically about a nude superhero who rescues kids in this school who the teachers do like sadistic punishments to if they don't do good. And so Keiko comes, and all she has is like this rabbit mask and boots, and that's it. And everyone the whole time is like screaming at her that she's a pervert, and then she just like beats the crap out of everyone. It's a great movie. We're showing it this Sunday, 6 Arizona time, 9 p.m. Here in the rest of the country.
But and your setup there is great, because I watched some stuff that you guys were testing out earlier in the week. I never used Kick before, but it's a nice layout. It's easy to use, and you won't get kicked off there. Like, I'm sure some of the stuff you won't be able to show on YouTube.
Exactly. Yes, you can cuss and be a little bit more crazy on there if you want. So that's why we're choosing to premiere it on there. So,
and that's gonna be every Sunday. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I was saying thank you so much for listening.
Oh, of course. No, I'm very excited about it. And whoever put the trailer together definitely has me excited to watch them.
Yay! Well, that was Larry.
Good job, Larry.
He's an amazing editor. He actually edits all of the movies that we make. We make some movies in-house. For New Village Video, we have some that we're making this year we're really excited about. And Larry usually writes them and directs them. and I do the production design. So it's having fun all the time.
Yeah. I saw your directorial debut on Kick.
Oh yeah, the Devil's Dance Party.
That was very fun. So, what was that experience like to put together?
Oh, it was so crazy because I wanted to do something just really meta and really visual. And so I saw like some of those dance loops they used to do in the 50s where it's just a random person just doing movements. And so I got 9 girls that I knew, like we worked with as actresses, models, you name it, from all kinds of backgrounds. And everything, what a lot of people don't know about it is it's 100% improvised. So everything you're seeing, I kind of feel bad for everyone. I was like, all right, go into this hallway. Here's a song. Now do whatever you want. And then they're like, wait, what do I do? I was like, I don't just dance and act weird. Now go. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then they just did it. And like people just put on these performances that I was like, wow, thank you. I was not expecting you to do that, like to bring it that much. So, you get people where it's 100% improvised. Like there were no takes, like there's cuts, of course, but every person had 2 songs that were 2 minutes each, and that was it. So, so it's really fun because of that. And I just wanted to basically I was always fascinated with, have you seen The Crow 2?
Yeah.
Yes. A long time ago. Yes.
The part where, is it Iggy Pop doing it? But where the guy's like putting the quarters in those little peep show machines?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think it is Iggy Pop.
Yeah, and it has like this like dirty little weird set box where like these girls come out and perform. So basically that's what I was trying to recreate set wise. So if you end up watching it, just imagine you're in The Crow 2.
That's not a movie people talk about a lot. It's usually Crow, but I'm happy that you're into the Crow too.
This one is, there's a lot of like Lucifers and Satans going on. What is the title of it? So I can find it.
Of which one? The Lucifer one?
Not The Crow 2. Yours.
The dance loops. What's the name of the dance loop?
I guess there's a lot of Satan stuff. I didn't think of it.
Like writing down things. Like I'm just so confused. There's so many demonic influences here.
I think it's Dance Loops from Hell.
So this one is The Devil's Dance Party.
That's an awesome name.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be really cheesy.
It sounds fun.
But yeah, mostly just improvisation.
Yeah.
I can't believe those girls did that. They were very brave to do it.
So people watching and they would be interested, like, my movie's wacky or crazy or whatever I think would fit in here. How would they contact you guys?
Oh yes, if you go on our website, you can actually just email me directly if you want. Just newvillagetara@gmail.com, and I will take a look. As I said, we're a 2-person team. So Larry will probably see it too, and we'll review it, and would be so happy to see your films. Definitely happy to, just support independent artists.
I can think of someone who's crazy film I wonder if you would take. I'm going to let them know. Send it in. It's weird.
Please do.
Yeah, I know Larry's asked me about shot on video stuff, and I had a couple people interested, so I'll send them your way.
Okay, thank you so much.
I think he was putting together an anthology. I don't know how much I'm supposed to talk about any of that. So.
This one is
I don't know.
And it's just crazy.
But yeah, I mean, we see a lot of very crazy stuff at festivals or just people in the Without Your Head community. So we'll definitely send people your way.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can come back anytime, Tara.
Yeah, Tara.
Tara.
It's okay. Tara sounds more exotic to me. So like.
Tara.
Tara.
But Tara is like terrible.
No, I'm thinking like
terror. Yeah.
Tara.
Tara. I see.
Tara.
Yeah, freaking
There you
tear
go.
a napkin in half because I'm so powerful.
All right.
You
Well,
doubt
thank you so
power?
much.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. It was very nice to meet you.
Yeah.
And learn about New Village Video. Looks super cool and very fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck to you and Larry.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
let us know when you have new stuff coming up. We'll talk about it here on the show.
Okay. All right. You two have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank
You as
you.
well.
Paul.
See you, Tara. Bye, Larry.
Bye, Larry.
And this Sunday, you can also see a couple trailers, from what I understand, will be playing throughout the night. So that's very exciting.
Tom is going to be. She was saying that every Sunday they show something.
Yeah, every Sunday they're going to do a Grindhouse movie for free on their Kick.
Kick.com.
Mm-hmm. Which was cool. I went there when they were showing some stuff.
I love it. And it's at a very reasonable time for anybody, I think, unless, I mean, maybe if you work third shift, it doesn't work out, but 9 o'clock is doable on a Sunday.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good time. Yeah, after you get home from church, you go watch some Lucifer LSD movie, and
Colin wrote, I don't know if you can pop that up on the screen.
Yeah, I can.
Gonna check it out right now. I'm gonna probably check it out after. I will check it out after. There's a lot of things to check out. We've had so many recommendations and insight into different films, and it's been wonderful.
Yeah, this has been a great show, honestly, so far. Devanny Pinn, I'm excited about watching his her movie. Colin Cooper, I'm excited about Bath Bomb, Black Mass by Devanny, and New Village Video. A lot of wild stuff here.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of cool things. Independent people doing independent stuff. I love it.
Yes. Yeah.
And they all seem like nice people who do care about the community, like the horror community and the people who create things, which is nice.
Yeah, you can tell she's very passionate about that.
Yeah. I think Colin and Devanny as well. Now, I don't know. I should have asked her about how she pronounces her name. I can't trust you, clearly.
What's that supposed to mean?
You don't pronounce people's names.
And the Billy.
Sarah.
And the Billy Lictor. Tara. I think the last Tara we had on said it was Tara, and I kept calling her Tara. So.
Yeah, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
It's all part of my charm.
We all still love you. It's all right.
But yeah, and you guys can look out. There's Tara's been on the show a few times.
Oh, she has? Cool.
Yeah, the first time it was not video, so I think she's a little shy here on the video, so I understand. Mm-hmm. And then the last time was a big group of people. It was all the people who make the Intimity tapes, so that was a fun time. And I think that one she actually just sits in the corner dressed as a clown.
Oh, really?
It looks very creepy.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Mm-hmm.
So this weekend, a lot of horror movies are coming out.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit bad talking about it because we're trying to promote all these independent stuff. But Renfield and The Pope's Exorcist, which I am excited about seeing both. I've actually seen the one.
Wow. There's another one coming out. I don't remember the title of it.
Yeah, I don't know about this because I looked it up afterwards, and apparently the creators of this film, and there's nothing against this, but they made a lot of religious films, and I believe this is actually a religious horror film.
Interesting.
Disguised as a horror movie. I don't know. I'd still be
this is which one? The Pope one or the other
one?
No.
Nefarious. Nefarious.
Like about a guy on death row or something like that.
The Pope's Exorcist looks good, but yeah, Nefarious.
I'm very curious. Well, that makes me curious to see it.
Yes.
I don't think that's necessarily bad. If it's a good story, I mean, if it's like making you feel like as a non-religious person, if it's trying to make you feel like shit about yourself, then I'm not cool with it.
Right, yeah.
But,
I agree.
Yeah.
But those and then coming up, and I could have actually went last night, but I was a little concerned because I could have saw an advanced screening of Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, I want to see it.
But they told me in the email you're not guaranteed a seat.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I want to do this.
Yeah, it's not like it's up the street.
Right. Yeah, and I'm sure there would be many people there. So.
Yeah. I am very excited about that. think it looks cool.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome.
Oh, it was Dana who was talking about her Evil Dead love not very long ago. Dana Nofke. She had a nice Evil Dead poster in the background.
Yeah, that's right. I was glad that she likes both the original and the remake.
Yeah, and many people are not into it. I think the remake is pretty cool.
I like it too.
I still remember the like monster woman who has the knife like go up her tongue, and it was like, that's beautiful. I love it.
I wanted to mention that this April 21st in New York, Brooklyn, Eating Miss Campbell will be playing with Lloyd Kaufman in attendance and Vito Trigo, former guest. Well, both of them are former guests here on the show, and by my buddy Liam Regan.
Oh, nice. So that's next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, next Friday at 8.
Yeah, it's in Brooklyn.
God, I work Fridays. It's a
right
thing for me to do, but
yeah. But for people in the area, it's very cool.
Or people out of the area who can perhaps take the time.
New York's a big place. You can travel over there.
Yeah.
This Sunday, if you're home, you should definitely be watching Grindhouse over in the New Village Video. But if you're in Kansas City, you should check out Panic Fest because the Once and Future Smash at End Zone 2 will be playing at Panic Fest.
Will any celebrities of the film be in attendance?
Yes, the directors Michael Epstein and Sophia Cassiola will be there.
Very nice, very nice.
I was not cool enough to go this one, but
I mean,
it'll be good. And our buddy Bob Elmore is coming to Monster Expo in Boston.
Oh, really?
That's cool. Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
Yep, that's in October. I saw that earlier today, and I was very excited. He has Once and Future Smash on his graphic.
Does he really?
Yes.
That's sweet.
I was very happy to see that.
He was great in that. Wow.
He is awesome. Very happy that he did it.
Oh, Larry, I believe, is saying looking forward to eating this camel.
Yes. It premiered at Fright Fest in London when I was there, but it actually premiered the night before I got into London. I was very upset. But Liam Regan will be coming on the show at some point. He's a really nice guy. I think you would like him.
I feel like I met him once upon a time. Maybe not. Wait, which movie did he do way back when you first met him? Maybe I wasn't.
I didn't meet him at the time, but he was on the show.
Was that a Banjo movie?
Yeah, My Bloody Banjo.
I didn't. No, I wasn't there for that show. But you raved about it.
Yeah, it was a very long interview. It's like a 4-hour interview, but
wow.
Yeah, it was a good show. Yeah.
Oh. Very cool.
Lawrence Harvey was in My Bloody Banjo. He's also in Eating Miss Campbell.
Oh, will he be in attendance? That's a far ride.
Probably not the one in New York, no.
Yeah.
Annabella Rich also was in it. She was in. She was there in London. She's very cool.
Her name.
She's in the chat sometimes, and we showed a lot of her shorts during Severed Limbs and some of her features. She does a lot of stuff with Trash Arts.
Oh, cool! I love Trash Arts.
Yeah,
great, make great stuff.
Yeah, they're coming. They're doing a. I think he's coming to the States soon to do something, or maybe he did come to the States to do something.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we're going to be showing one of their movies again coming up at some point. I have to set that up.
Severed Limbs? Or is
a feature film.
Got it. Severed Limbs, for people that don't know, is a without your head, totally free in every way. You don't have to pay an entrance fee. You don't have to pay a submission fee. It doesn't mean you're guaranteed a spot.
Right.
You play everything. But yeah, Neil Jones has set this up since COVID times because.
Yeah, I'd set it up. I'm going to take credit as the first virtual film festival. But I don't know. I set up because I miss going to the festivals. And at that time, no one really knew how bad things. It was a weird time. Everyone remembers. You didn't know what exactly was going on. and it was fun, everyone to get together. And at the time, it was when they were doing the Facebook streams, which I don't do anymore. I like those, but we all got together and watched the movies. Really, the idea was just to do it one time, but it was a really cool experience all around, and made it a quarterly event. I think last year he did 3, but normally a quarterly event.
Next one's coming up pretty soon.
The 13th. It is Severed Limbs the 13th, and that is, well, we're the 13th right now, but it's May 13th, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I hope you know. It's your event.
Well, it's whatever the next it's Saturday, May 13th.
Very
and
nice.
You can still submit. It's so you can. The best way is to submit through Film Freeway. Just look up Without Your Severed Limbs on Film Freeway. It might be filmfreeway.com/severed limbs, or you can email me. But it's a lot easier for me if you do it through Film Freeway. Also, the judges will be able to watch it easier.
Mm-hmm.
And I also need I have a lot of submissions already, but I need a lot of trailers. So if you have trailers out there, send one in. We need some, and it can be, the trailer doesn't have to be for a short film. It could be for a feature film. Mm-hmm. And they're under 20 minutes, please.
Please.
The shorter, the easier it is to have. So if it's under 10 minutes, great. If you're under 10 minutes, I won't say you're guaranteed, but you're going to have a better chance of getting under 20 minutes. Over 20 minutes, it's nothing against a 20-minute or 25, 30-minute short. It's just, if I have a lot of people send it in, if I show 30 short films and they're all half hour, that's 15 hours.
Well,
and,
as
you
a
know what I'm
person
saying?
who was not part of the development of this project and who's been an audience member,
Mm-hmm.
and other people who've been to short festivals, it's tough when you're going to a shorts festival and you have something that long,
mm-hmm.
because you want to ingest all the shorts. And
I would like to get as many different filmmakers involved as possible.
Yeah.
And I like to include people of all different levels of experience. So someone who's made a lot of stuff, that's awesome. There's been people like Nicholas Hatch out there who never had made anything before, and he made stuff specifically for Severed Limbs, and that makes me very happy. So I like to encourage Nicholas and anyone out there to make something creative and send it in.
Because if you look at it like a 20-minute short itself, if that person had made 5, that bumps out how many people that could have submitted a short if they each did 5.
Right.
That's a lot of people that won't have an opportunity to be in. So keep it low.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could have a different festival, not to give you more work, that people would maybe not do a full feature length and not do a little short, but have maybe.
Well, I was thinking, I did do a feature-length film, which I would like to do again, but I do need to rethink. I would like to keep it to 2 days, probably, possibly 3. But I would like to get a panel of judges to accept. There was I don't want to. I'm not going to name any names, but it was just it's too many films, I think, to do virtually at this level. But I would like to do it again. It was a cool experience. I also would probably like to keep them up maybe a few days instead of just the one time.
Yeah, so people have a chance to see it. That is something with film festivals that's tough, is if you miss it, you miss it. Like, we were in Atlanta and we accidentally missed some stuff that we really wanted to see. And then it's like, and that's goodbye. So if things are able to hang out longer, that's very cool. I know not everybody likes that, like the filmmakers, but it's nice to have.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
I can get all different views on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned that we're going to be going to see a couple horror movies. So we don't just go watch these movies. We have a good time stuff. But we also do this thing called Neil and Annabelle's Dinner in a Movie. So after we go see Renfield and The Pope's Exorcist and possibly Nefarious, we're going to review them over dinner, hence the name, Neil and Annabelle's Dinner in a Movie. And then they will pop up on YouTube, and you watch them. They're a good time. There's a bunch up there now. So go and, if you've not checked them out, watch them.
Years and years and years. There's
a decade of them.
Yeah. Decade. It's
a decade of good times.
So you can see us age. Can you watch Neil get like small, and I just age.
Yeah. Tara thought I was like 6'5", which I thought was interesting.
This is not true. It's the hat.
Yeah, it's a hat. It's a big personality.
It is a big personality.
That's what. Yeah, I really am that height, but I don't want to overpower people. Like, okay, so it's a big personality, and then if I'm really tall too, it's just too much. So I wear basement shoes. They're kind of like elevator shoes, but reverse. They take a foot off my height. I'm just trying to think everybody else.
Super not related, non sequitur. Do you remember interviewing Doyle from the Misfits?
Yes, I do.
Right. Now, I was reading some story recently about Doyle whining about the music and having to meet fans and really like going off the rails, being a dick. And people were like, he's so tall and this and that. And I want to get in there with my little story. But now, is he short wearing lips?
No, he's tall and he wears lips to even be more annoying, I think. To be even more obnoxious.
When we went to interview him?
Oh, yeah, because when you do the interviews, honestly, they just look better sit down anyway, because especially if there's a height difference. But he was like, he purposely stood up so there was even a bigger height difference.
Yeah. Didn't he like go up? Neil is not a tall man, which is fine. But then when someone who's already super giant feels like they need to tower over someone who's not really tall, maybe he was trying to tower over me in my moderate average height.
Yeah, I think he's just a real ass. I think is my theory on the thing. He was not pleasant. No. Even besides everything, he just wasn't a very pleasant guy.
Rude guy. Looks cool, but
oh yeah, he looks cool.
Yeah, Doyle.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Annabelle painted this fine hat.
I did. That was many moons ago. I hadn't even gone to a convention yet.
I mentioned it many times. I haven't mentioned it tonight, but yeah.
So what else is happening? So we're seeing the Nicolas Cage movie. You've already seen it and have sworn yourself to secrecy. You sent me a message after you saw it. And just
I'm going to get no spoilers here, but there's much more action in the movie than I expected. I'm not saying that's good or bad. There's much more action in the film than I expected. A lot more like, from what I understand, the director was inspired by John Woo films.
Interesting. When I saw the first trailer, I was disappointed by the first trailer I saw because it felt like it was going to be an action movie with the style it's shot and the personality of Renfield character, and it felt to me like this is going to be kind of like a goofy, action-y film. And Nick Cage has done many very successful action films. Like
almost none of the action involves Nicolas Cage, I'll say.
Okay. I'm fine with that. I think I'm basically going to go, my prediction, I'm going to go and watch it, and I'm going to love Nicolas Cage and kind of like leave the rest behind, but I'll enjoy Nicolas Cage. That's my prediction.
I will not say a word. Right. Yeah, and I have not seen the other movie, so I have no idea.
I haven't even seen the trailers for the other ones. I just read the Hope and...
I got free fangs when I went to see it.
Yeah, you were at a big deal movie guy premiere.
It was packed.
I bet. I think it's going to be packed seeing it on a Sunday.
Yeah, I think it will be too.
I don't think it's unavoidable. I was thinking about going a different day, but it doesn't make sense to go on Saturday because it's going to be a nightmare. But it's worth it on a Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it'll be a fun review. We'll figure out where we eat after. If anyone has any, well, I don't know what's a good place. I'll just say what's a good place. But honestly, a lot of times it's what is open and what has room for us to film in.
Well, I also saw that some of these movies are not in this location that we normally go to, so there could be other options.
Interesting. There's a new Korean fried chicken place, which was really good. I ate there after the movie.
Compared to the other Korean fried chicken places?
It's a smaller place. It's actually much different though. The Crave fried chicken in Boston, it's in Chinatown, and the chicken is like flattened.
It was good.
It's great, and this is big chunks of chicken.
I like that as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like festivals; they're just different.
Yeah, I like that they're different. Right,
Yeah.
and this isn't like a sit down get served place. You order and then you just go sit down yourself. So there's differences between them. But you can also get, which is interesting, you can get whole fried chicken there. So like whole pieces, like breast, wing, thighs.
Not whole chicken like the chicken that was attacking in that Black Forest trailer.
No.
Village, that was so
That it looked amazing.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, and if you go to the website, there's a lot of wild stuff on there. New Village Video.
I am excited. It's going to be my new Tubi.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Mm-hmm. New Village Video, the fine folks behind that, on the first Severed Lambs, their movie Cloud won the best short. That's how I came to know them.
I don't think I was present for the first one. Maybe. I don't recall. What's Cloud? Tell me more about Cloud. Tell the audience about Cloud, more importantly.
Cloud. Oh, it's really gross. There's a lot of goop, and it's about like some kind of weird drug these guys are doing, and then a guy goes crazy and kills everybody.
Spoiler alert: Neil Jones.
It's cool. Go watch it. Go watch Cloud. It's free on YouTube. It's free on the Intimity Tapes YouTube page.
Someone in the audience is volunteering to judge Severed Limbs.
Oh, who's this? All right. Do it up. All right. Bam. I'll set it up. I don't know if that's Tara or Larry or both, but you can do it up. I would love for you to be a judge. That would be great.
Cool. Yes.
What happened here? Something just popped up on my screen. I don't know.
Everything is good from this side. So whatever popped up did not transfer. So
I love that. Yeah. I'll send you a link. How you do the judging? I'll send you. You'll be able to log into the Film Freeway, watch everything that people send in, and you can either judge it each one individually. There's like a thing like I have different criteria. Just your favorite, the weirdest, the coolest monster, best heroes, all these different things. And or you can just make out a list of your topics, or you can each of the judges have their own way of doing it. So either way is fine by me.
Someone helped build the beautiful
Ty Chaman, one of the judges this year, is a really nice guy who made Little Green Men, which is coming out soon.
Are you still using my beautiful form?
Yes.
It was pretty nice.
Very very handy.
Yes.
In the future, we hope to eventually have maybe some real trophies and things. So, but for that stuff, we'll have to probably have some type of Patreon or something to help pay for these things.
Well, we've got maybe for materials, but we've got this nice connection. I don't want to give away their name so they don't get harassed, but I think that could go pretty sweet.
All right.
So yeah. I was going to go through it really quick about the Pope's exorcist and just throw it out there to the world. Inspired by the actual files of Father Gabriel Amorth, it's probably wrong, chief exorcist of the Vatican, who is played by Russell Crowe, which I didn't even realize. I'm so detached from the world. The Pope's exorcist follows Amorth as he investigates a young boy's terrifying possession and ends up uncovering a centuries-old conspiracy the Vatican has desperately tried to keep hidden. So, based on real
interesting.
evidence.
Yeah, it looks good to me. And oddly enough, who's the actor there? The big guy, the main guy?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. He was on WrestleMania as the character in this movie.
Weird.
He was up in like these clouds, and he was talking about like he was promoting Hell in the Cell match, and he's like, and he's giving this weird speech. I was like, this is just so weird. Like, who would ever thought Russell Crowe would be on WrestleMania?
Oh, my opinion dropped. I don't know if I really had an opinion of him before, but I know too much about that industry from you, so I don't have a very high opinion of that particular.
I'm down to see it as long as Russell doesn't sing.
What? Not a fan of Les Mis?
I kind of like. I was never really a big fan of Russell Crowe, but I heard an interview with him, and he just talked about like because he's getting a lot of weight, and he just like enjoying himself and eating a lot. I was like, oh, this guy's cool. I kind of like him now.
And he probably had to work so hard for so many
That's
years.
what he said. Like he had to kill himself to be like in Gladiator and stuff.
Yeah. So good for him. Hell with it. Then nefarious. On the day of his scheduled execution, a convicted serial killer gets a last-minute court-ordered psychiatric evaluation. The killer surprises the psychiatrist with his claim that instead of trying to avoid his fate, he is in fact a demon who wants the execution to go forward, and further claims that before their brief time together is over, the doctor will commit 3 murders of his own. I think that's freaking fascinating. I think that sounds awesome. So I don't know what
really
the agenda or non-agenda may be, but I think that sounds...
Yeah, if we can do it, we go a triple feature. If we can make it happen.
Everybody's got to be going to sleep very early and be up.
All right. Yeah, I have to head way out. I have to go up real early anyway to avoid just the most insane traffic I've ever seen here. And I normally there's crazy traffic on the summer, but nothing like it's been. They're working on my bridge. No one cares about this, but they're working on the bridge that I have to go over the to get on and off the Cape, and they work on it all night. Actually, even in the middle of the night, but.
Yeah, they got to get it done before the summertime comes. They'll be losing a lot of money out on those islands. P-Town people going to be pissed. John Larson.
Yeah, my poor brother takes him like 2 hours to get home after work.
Ooh, gross. I will be able to stay out late. See, this is us being lame, old people. I will be able to stay out late on Sunday night as well because Patriots Day is an actual holiday in Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
I'm fortunate enough.
All right, I'll make sure to finish my taxes before this weekend.
Oh.
I actually have all the info. I just have to put it into the.
You're so old.
Yeah. Everyone loves taxes talk.
I'll be like,
and they're like, hell yeah, I tuned in Without Your Head to hear him talk about doing taxes.
The bridge, tax.
Traffic and taxes. This show's really gone downhill. What the hell's going on here?
Well,
it's been very fun. I don't know who's on. I don't know who's on next week yet. We'll figure it out.
Yes, I'm very happy to be back.
I'm very happy to have you back.
It's it's been a jungle out there trying to get everything situated in my world of regular people stuff, and yeah. So this is very cool that I can do this now, and I'm happy. I know I probably won't be able to be here every week, but it is certainly.
Yeah, it's nice to have you part of the show.
Yes, thank you very much. I hope other people don't mind me being here too.
No, Troy actually had to work late tonight, so he was actually trying to be here, but he couldn't quite make it. But he did pop up in the chat room.
I saw he had a high.
Yeah.
So that's too bad.
Yeah. And I know Tara was looking forward to talking to Troy again too.
Well, she'll be back and they can talk in the future. Troy has made so much art for Without Your Head. It's super freaking cool. Neil's got it on all kinds of shirts. Just
some awesome stuff. Very talented man, my brother.
Yeah. It's like the cool cartoon style that is totally just Troy's. No one else does Troy kind of art. It's
very fun.
Yeah, it's unique.
One of his favorites passed away. We were celebrating his birthday. He turned 102, Al Jaffe, recently, but then he passed away. But the guy lived a hell of a life. And I think he retired when he was 99 or something.
Who?
Al Jaffe from Mad Magazine.
Oh, I saw that. But that's a pretty good age to make. So
yeah.
On the one hand, is it sad? Yeah, but yes, Patriots Day. It's a great reason.
USA.
Yeah, I really don't know that much about it because I guess when you don't have holidays off,
right?
You really know.
Like me, yeah. I don't know what the holidays.
Say it like that, but
yeah,
it's my truth. We
just had Easter. Look at this. We just had Easter, and down here is an Easter egg.
Why is it on the floor?
Don't ask these questions. There's lots of things you don't need to know. No, it's I don't know why it's down there actually. But.
Yeah, I heard recommendation from a mutual friend about eggs. Then they were, yeah. I won't give away that person's identity, but so you're picking an egg up off the floor randomly. I'm just like, what the?
No, I have a lot of different. Look, I've got a lot of different things down here. I've got this is tinsel from St. Patrick's Day. I had I've got Diablo Joe hot sauce.
Oh no way! That's
Yeah.
really cool. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Diablo
sweet.
Joe is one of the people that writes reviews of a lot of the movies that Neil gets sent screeners for.
Mm-hmm.
So they're great. He's a very, very smart dude and really has a grasp of critique of cinema. So I don't always agree with him, but he's good.
Yeah.
Was that New Day?
It's New Day. It's New Day. I've got St. Patrick's Day tinsel. The point is, I have decorations for every holiday, and somehow that egg fell off there onto the floor.
Somehow.
I actually forgot to put up all my Easter decorations this year. I know everyone's really let down, but in the future.
It's quite the shelf. That was a good move for you. Can you put the egg in its mouth and shoot it?
I like this because it's very annoying.
You're not
It
trying
reminds
it.
me of
Where's the
somebody.
egg action? Are you really not going to even try it?
We'll try.
Jam that egg in there and pow pow. Then you ah.
So you think if I just do it fast, like he'll pop it off?
He's like it's not a tight enough seal.
What?
It's not a tight enough seal. You'd need like
Yeah, I think that's it.
yeah. The everything that just happened could be construed in a sexual way. Like
It's got dust all over us.
Ew.
Pull this out. You know, I'm like Carrot Top. I've got all kinds of gimmicks here. Start playing the ukulele.
Is that the one that?
It is the one when we were in
Woodstock.
Woodstock.
I'm
yeah.
so glad you got that. Neil sometimes takes a little push to do things,
Right.
but then when he gets it,
Yeah.
so he had a little push
Sunglasses.
to ukulele. What is that?
These
I feel
aren't
like
very
I've watched
nice.
Pee Wee Herman more than Carrot Top. I don't even know if you like that movie, Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Not particularly. No, I actually kind of like it.
Pee Wee moments. You don't have to like it. It's all right.
Yeah, I see Pee Wee on my walks every day. He's there's a tree, and it's in a very normal neighborhood, and there's it's got a hollow point, and they used to have a mannequin in it. And I don't know if someone stole it. Not a mannequin, like a ventriloquist dummy. And I don't know if someone stole it or what, but that one freaked me out because anyone who listens to the show for an extended period of time knows that magic.
Mm-hmm.
That movie freaks me out. And then it was replaced one day with Pee Wee. He's been there for over a year now. And they put a scarf on him when it was cold. Put a little Santa hat on him during Christmas, and then they put Easter rabbit ears on him during Easter.
I love it.
It's very cute.
That kind of thing makes me super happy. Just that there's humans out there being weird.
Yeah.
Keep it up, weirdos.
Yeah. There's some weird people around where I live. They gotta be secret weirdos, though, I think.
What? There's gotta be some weird. Like, I don't know if you know, but.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's a good way.
No.
Weird is good. Weird is makes the world go round.
I agree. So I know I should say this more often, but you're supposed to hit. The kids say smash the like button. That sounds lame, but hit the like button. Hit that little icon on YouTube. If you hit that icon, you get a notification every time we're live. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and helps.
You can find Nasty Neil.
What? TikTok, yeah. It was Nasty Neil on TikTok, but I changed it to Without Your Head. I'm actually Necro Neil on the Kick. Tara suggested Necro Neil, so it's all right.
Tara did?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Not Tara?
Tara. Tara.
We'll get you there. Exactly.
Suggested Necro Neil, so it's Necro Neil on the Kick.
Mm-hmm. It's awesome. Do you think you'll change Nasty Neil out to Necro Neil someday?
Necroneliac.
Awesome.
What?
But I said it is pretty awesome.
It's a good name. I like it.
Intense.
Yeah. Well, it's like you're not nasty, but Necro. Yeah, that totally works.
It's cool. It's very horrific, and I don't know. But I don't know. I think some of your guests are too normal to maybe do an interview with Necro Neil.
Yeah. Then nasty, I guess, is kind of weird to begin, but Necro it goes into a whole other territory, I think.
See, now this is what I'm questioning right now: is why is it? I'm sure you and I are both like necrophilia is where our mind goes, but necro is many things.
It's just death.
Necromancer.
Right. Well, Tara did suggest it because we were talking about necrophilia.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. It's a good conversation.
What kind of conversation was this, Neil?
About a movie I want to make.
This is a private conversation?
I don't have to go to the detail. No, it was about a movie I want to make.
You gotta let this.
I was like, I was telling her she's got to learn to play dead, and no, it was just about a movie. But no, she's cool. All right. So anything else? I've got our cool video here to wrap up the show from our music of the month here, Strange Nocturnal. If you are interested out there in being a future music of the month, email at withoutyourhead@gmail.com. Or actually, do that. Or you can contact me. Or I know sometimes Annabelle's not online to contact, but I do think because she is the one who came up with the music of the month, she's into the music. But that is also, and don't take it personally if for some reason you're not picked as music of the month, because there's a lot of things that need to go into that. I need permission to play the music. I can't just have like one track, because I can't play one track every week. Maybe it's not fitting to the show. There's lots of things that go in. So I don't want anyone to be upset if for some reason you're not picked. But I'll try to at least play a track at some point if you send me something, even if it's not music of the month.
Again, not to give you more work. You used to do mixtapes.
Yeah, the problem is a lot of this stuff now through YouTube, it's almost impossible to play music even with written permission. Really? I actually had a music festival lined up. Maybe I'll do it on Kick. Maybe Kick would let me do it. Because I had a lot of people send in horror music videos for Without Your Head TV. And YouTube just like, nope. And Facebook would not let me do it, so it's hard. Wow. Maybe Kick would let me do it. If I did the mixtape again, I do like those, but they would have to. It would just be like a Spotify exclusive. It wouldn't be able to go on the YouTube.
Yeah, I think that would be a good place to have it, anyways, because Spotify is so many people get their music out of Spotify. So
yeah, those are fun to do. Come up with a theme, get people send stuff.
Mm-hmm. Attach them to the artists. I assume most of those artists will have Spotify pages. So
right, yeah.
Into that way.
Exactly.
Yeah. Making it work for the indie people is they're the best.
Exactly. So if you're oh, I wanted to bring this up. I'm gonna grab this name. This is a really wild guest, I think. Jimmy Hunt. Jimmy Hunt from the original 1953 Invaders from Mars is coming to Without Your Head. The star, the kid, the big kid in this is nuts. Invaders from Mars 1953 is coming on the show.
Wow.
It's getting a Blu-ray release.
That's amazing.
And they contacted Without Your Head. I was like, absolutely, this is amazing. Yeah. So I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but in the coming weeks that will be going on.
I love both the Invaders from Mars are so cool. I love them. Now I want to see that again.
Yeah. Well, I'll be getting the Blu-ray, and we'll be able to. I'll let you. We'll share it around.
Check it out.
Yeah. So there's this website people know of. I forget the name of it, but we're gonna do our own version. There'll be the Without Your Head-o. There'll be Dinner and a Movie-o. And so if you want a personalized video of Nasty Neal, if you want a personalized video with Nasty Neal and Annabelle Lecter out and about in the Boston area, we'll work out the price and all this stuff. But like, you want us to say happy birthday to you, whatever it is, you plug something, whatever it is, within reason.
Limits, yeah.
Within reason. And if for some reason we don't accept it, we won't, keep your money or something. We'll send your money back. But within reason, we're going to start that up, and it'll be a fun little thing. And the money will help to pay for this and pay for our apps when we're doing Dinner and Movies and whatnot. And that'll be fun. And for Annabelle and I, so if you bought one, it might be a couple weeks or something before you get it, just because we don't meet every week. But, you'll get it within a reasonable time.
Someone said, why hello? But we do not know who you are, Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook user, why hello? Why hello there, Mr. Facebook user.
Or Ms. Facebook user.
That's very true.
Or Mix.
You calling me sexist?
Pronounce that. Yes. I'm not sure how you pronounce the MX. I don't even know if you're aware of the MX. Are you aware of...
Amber Vines.
Look, see?
Miss.
I knew.
Ms.
Do you know what MX is?
Ms.
MX.
MX? No.
Yes, MX. So there's people who use male, Mr., and female can be Miss, Ms., Mrs., and then there's a gender neutral that people will choose whether or not they want to use it. But it's MX, and I think that's so freaking cool. I'm all about MX. I think that's an awesome title, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Oh, I see. So you don't know if it's MX, Mix? Yeah, I don't know either.
I don't know. But that's what that is. And I think it looks super cool. But I don't want to steal it.
Yeah. Amber Vines.
Amber Vines. Yeah, Amber Vines. Haven't seen Amber Vines in forever and ever.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Very good.
I looked over here quick, and the bath bomb, how it almost looks like the old Batman logo.
Does it? Yeah. It's a beautiful poster. I love
Oh, the poster is awesome. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, yeah. So
don't you think that would be cool? I don't know. I don't want to say he's going to do it or not because I have no idea, but I think that would be an interesting interview to talk to someone who's made a lot of cool posters.
I'd be psyched to have. We should get Joe Castro on sometime.
He's a really fun guest.
Love him. I love his art. Anybody that isn't aware of it, Joe Castro is an effects guy. Find him on Facebook. The stuff he makes is just so.
And Terror Tunes 4 is, at the festivals right now. So.
I want to see.
I'd love to see it, yeah.
He's working on a Lovecraft project, the old ones. I think it is called the old ones. And so he's got all these crazy fish people. And they're awesome.
Yeah, Joe's awesome. Yeah, we'll get him on. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I would definitely like to have more of the arty effects people. I think that would be a good addition to the show.
Yeah, he's an awesome guest. Very fun guy. Very super passionate. Very passionate about monsters and movies and horror. All on a really sweet man too. Really good guy.
Mm-hmm. He's a very good guy. So I'm fine. I'm assuming Facebook user is still Amber. I'm doing good.
I'm good. Any favorite horrors as of late?
Favorite horror films that we've seen out? I feel like we've given out some pretty great reviews lately for things.
Yeah, but it wasn't necessarily horror. Dungeons and Dragons. Unwelcome.
So freaking great. Oh, Unwelcome was amazing. So good. That was an Irish one, or was it?
Yeah, it's Irish with the red caps. And I just recently from Well Go USA, it's getting a Blu-ray release, so that's very cool. Because not everything gets a physical release, but it's getting a Blu-ray release.
Unwelcome was so fun. It's got Lieutenant O'Brien. I don't know why. I just think that's so great. I love seeing people that used to. I mean, maybe he's been in a ton of stuff. I know him as for Star Trek, and I saw him in this. I'm like, holy crap, good for you.
It's really got everything going for it. I think. Even if it was just the red cap little guys, that stuff's great. But it's like a genuinely good movie. Yeah, the performances, you could tell like they're giving it. They're all kind of like Tara was talking about earlier. People really giving it their all. They're not mailing in. A strong female lead, which sometimes people say that, and I don't necessarily think they're correct. But this one is a strong female lead, I think, and it was just all around really well made movie. Acting and it looks cool, and the monsters are fun.
There was great gore.
Yeah, great gore, and then it gets really wacky,
beginning to end. But when it was there, it was mighty and cool.
Yeah, and it gets really weird at the end.
Mm-hmm. Really weird. And as I was watching, I don't know how I feel about this, but I warmed to it, and now I feel good about it. I just loved that movie. So, Amber, find it. It's super. So would that wouldn't really be in the theaters, huh? That was like
it did have a theatrical release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it played at AMC actually. Mm-hmm. And then it was going. I don't know if it was Shudder. It was on one of the video on demand. But now it's actually getting a theatrical release too, though. So I was really happy because a Blu-ray release, because like I said, not everything, even stuff that goes to Shudder stuff, not all of it ever goes to Blu-ray or DVD or anything. But it has, so that's cool. And it's got a lot of specials. So
what else
check it out.
What have you seen that's not fresh in the theaters? It's new. Like earlier, we were talking about. Do you say Devanny or Devanny? I said I wouldn't trust you, but I am going to.
I said Devanny.
Devanny. Okay. Devanny. We were talking about like international horror films.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about a movie, this Japanese horror movie, EXTE. It means hair extensions. And it's not new. It's not old, like 80s, but it's not new. And I just love that. So that's a favorite.
Yeah, that sounds, I'd like to check that out.
Fun. Oh, man. You'd love the guy who is like part villain in it. He's hilarious and so weird and awesome. Yeah, phone call days way back, Amber. It was long ago.
Yeah, I do like that we can stream this off multiple websites now. So it's streaming on the Facebook page, which gets a lot of action on YouTube, and it's streaming off Twitter right now, which I haven't even looked to see how that does. Is it good? I guess I don't know. I don't really. I've been trying to use the Twitter a little more because I had the Twitter for years, but I don't really like Twitter. But I do realize that it's people like Twitter, so I should try to use it.
I thought that went into the trash with all the Elon Musk hubbub.
Yeah, but people kind of said that, but I think it's kind of made a comeback.
It's hanging in there.
Yeah.
It's not gone yet. Don't count Twitter out.
Yeah.
What about TikTok?
TikTok. I don't know if you. I don't know. Maybe you can. I don't know. I don't know how to stream it live off TikTok. Maybe it's possible, but.
Yeah.
But some of the videos on there do some highlight videos of the different interviews. They do well, and the reels on Instagram do good.
Mm-hmm.
It says eventually you'll be able to do this live off Instagram too. But anyway, as many places people can see it, it's good by me.
What's the best place for people to find the Without Your Head stuff?
We go to the website withoutyourhead.com, and then you'll find all the places that you like. So if you want to watch the live show, I would recommend on the Facebook group or YouTube. Live every Thursday. And then every once in a while there'll be some other live show pop up. If you want to watch old episodes, it's probably easier to watch the older episodes on Spotify and YouTube. I wish you could put the live shows in like some type of folder on Facebook, but as far as I can see, that's impossible, which that's unfortunate. But they're always there on YouTube and Spotify. I will be honest, Spotify is a little bit better on the ad sales, but either way is good by me.
It helps, like you said earlier. Every little bit helps.
Right. We got a Venmo if you want to help out the show. I'm going to start giving out stickers.
I'm going to just throw it out there that yes, donating money to us is good, but prioritize the films.
Yeah.
Learning about, because like that money is helpful to us, but the films, if you're really interested in it, like give it to them because they need it. They need it. The big way.
Some of the filmmakers have donated to Without Your Head. I appreciate that.
That's very cool. Very cool.
So yeah, just Without Your Head everywhere. Fortunately, we've been good to have the Without Your Head YouTube. It's not Without Your Head 6973 or something. It's just straight up Without Your Head on all the different. Except for Facebook, it's actually groups Without Your Head horror.
Yeah, that's unavoidable.
Yeah, that one's good though. That's still cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we burnt this to the ground.
Yeah, this has been really fun though. We had a lot of cool guests, a variety of guests. It's been a good time.
Really enjoyed all the interviews. Don't ever enjoy. Well, there's one interview I enjoy. I think you know which one I'm talking about, where I actually hung up.
I do remember actually. Yeah.
I was just like, this person's ignoring me completely. Fuck this.
Yeah, that may have happened with someone else when Trista was on too.
Really?
And she made the joke that I shouldn't say, but no one would know who it was. But she made the joke that they have this weird condition where they don't hear female voices.
Yes. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyways, every other interview has probably been totally amazing because people are fascinating. And I hope everybody out there, if you don't like listening to us ramble, I really hope you do enjoy the interviews. They're a lot of fun to do. I mean, I wasn't here for like a portion of time, but way back when I used to do them all the time, I always loved it. It's nice to be back. It's very cool to learn. And yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, it's been a great time. And in the future, we have the Facebook group, which is pretty active. If you have a topic or something you want us to talk about, post it in there. Maybe we'll have I'll make a specific post every week, and you can post stuff throughout the week, or you can email withoutyourhead@gmail.com, and we'll try to talk about it on the show. So if you have like a video or whatever, and we'll probably play it as long as it's reasonable.
Could we
not just total spam
on this? Is it possible to do call-ins to this?
Yeah, I just sent out the link.
Yeah, because way back we were doing theme shows, so that
you won't be able to call you won't be able to audio call in, but you'll be able to not Zoom, but you'll be able to do a video call into the show.
Which people could turn off the camera if they didn't want to.
Yeah.
Because we were gonna do I think we might have done the ghosts one. We were gonna do aliens. We were gonna do topics for people.
Yeah, that would be fun. I like that kind of stuff. We do a 13 once in a while, but I like having some topic show. And,
yeah, it's fun. But it's past my bedtime. I just
all right.
So, been a pleasure, Mr. Nasty Neil, Necro Neil.
You as well, Annabelle.
And I'll see you for movies soon enough.
Yeah, we'll see you this weekend. And thank you, Devanny. And thank you, Colin. And thank you, Tara and Larry out there. All right. Now we are going to play us out. Music of the month. Strange Nocturnal. And I picked a certain song this time. We're going to listen to a previous theme of Without Your Head here. Strange Nocturnal's rendition of Without Your Head.
Without your head.